which is associated with the horizontal movement of water. And under waves, we will have a subset of tsunamis. So basics of tsunamis also. Okay, and then tides. Tides should take up some time because under tides we have several subsets, like not just the theory or mechanism of the tides, what is today's theory, how things have become complicated, and what are the frequency of tides, and how does sun modify your tides. Okay, and what is the difference between your full moon position, new moon position, how does your tide change, what are spring tides, neap tides, how does your tides look like during solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, and all those divisions. If this is done, the last part is coral reefs. Okay, so that will wrap up our discussion for physical geography. Ready? So first let me start with the impacts of ocean currents. Okay. Here we are. Impacts of ocean currents. Or effects of ocean currents, anything. So you get a question on this, you can definitely write like generally in terms of economic impact, the energy impact and all that. First few points will be pretty easy for you to appreciate. There is not much of complexity. Then we will go for certain specific regions. Okay. First one, why do ocean currents come into existence? For redistribution of heat. So the ocean currents along with atmosphere are important players for transporting heat from the equator to the poles. That's point one. That's fairly simple. I think you understand. There are no real surprises here. Okay. Point two. The ocean currents are not just heat transfer mechanisms, they're also generally transport mechanisms. Now, when we say transport mechanisms here, we are talking about marine organisms. Remember the video yesterday, okay, where we talked about turtles using ocean currents? So now just a large number of organisms use ocean currents for transport. So that's an inherent statement again. A large number of marine organisms, are using ocean current or ocean currents for migration. That's true. For migration. Okay. So these are not really surprising points. It's something which is very acceptable. Like it doesn't require explanation too, because we have clearly understood the difference between equatorial and your warm currents and cold currents yesterday. And of course, migration factor is something which we did have a snapshot of the video yesterday. So these two are very easy. So I'll read the statements and then proceed further. The ocean currents along with atmosphere are important players for transport of heat from equator to the polar region. Number two, large number of marine organisms are using ocean currents for migration. Now, third and fourth, we look for specific points. See, if you've noted down the session yesterday, when we discussed the two different types of ocean currents, the warm current was present on the western side of oceans and cold current was present on the eastern side. See, please note, this does play a significant role in climate. So we will take North America as an example and then see how, if you have two contrasting ocean currents, how does your shorelines vary? Is it clear? So not just North America, you can take South America, you can take Africa also. But since we are talking about significant impact, we'll be in a position to judge better. This is your warm ocean current. It's called as Gulf Stream. Why Gulf Stream? Gulf of Mexico. This is a cold ocean current. California. Cold. The concept is same of surface temperature influencing air temperature. See, when the ocean surface has a cold temperature, naturally air will have a tendency to settle down. So you go to the southwestern part of North America, The surface temperature, you take the entire region of the oceans, you will not experience too much evaporation because surface is cold. So if surface is cold, right, air will have a tendency to settle down. It's going to settle down. It's not going to rise up, which means precipitation will be less. This is attributed as one of the reasons beyond offshore trade winds for the location of Mojave Desert. Mojave Desert is on the United States-Mexico border, right? So this region is a desert because of cold current. This is true for all the parts of the world. Along with your offshore trade winds, the presence of cold ocean currents on the western side of continents is a reason for presence of subtropical hot deserts. Is it clear? So cold currents reduce evaporation. Cold currents reduce evaporation and hence precipitation forming subtropical deserts. That is hot deserts on the western side of continents. You take any part of the world, this will seem true. You can be in Africa, or you can be in South America. Fine. You can be in Australia too. Same thing is applicable. Number 3, you take Gulf Stream. The climate which is on the eastern margin, you will find your tropical marine climate. And after your tropical marine climate, if you remember, it is China climate in parts of Florida and northern part of Florida. So if you look at high sea surface temperature, one of the reasons why in your winter season, you get good number of hurricanes. So you take your Gulf Stream, it kind of contributes to more hurricanes and more rainfall on the eastern coast. So if you have a warm ocean current, good possibilities of rainfall. So warm ocean currents, on the other hand, promote evaporation. Evaporation, thus helping wet environments, or thus creating wetter conditions. Example, you can say Gulf type, the Florida region, Gulf type. Okay. And next point I'm going to derive from Gulf Stream. You should know this because it's something which is special to northwestern part of Europe. So you clearly know that Gulf Stream doesn't end here, it progresses north, and we call the extension as North Atlantic Drift, right? So it's an extension current, it's the northern boundary. See, picture this, if your North Atlantic Drift is not there, okay, let's say it is absent, you take the regions of British climate, that is your France, your Britain, Belgium, Netherlands, and all those regions. The British climate will actually experience low temperatures during winter, even if it is coastal. It's only because of this North Atlantic Drift, they are kind of saved from very low temperatures of, during your winter season. If this ocean current is not there, the average temperature will decline at least by 5 degrees Celsius. So thanks to the ocean current, Britain is safe during winter. Okay, if not, they will face some difficulties. The reason is you're very close to Arctic Circle. So the ocean current helps you. Okay. So the parts of British climate, or parts of northwestern Europe, do not have an extreme winter, due to the presence of North Atlantic Drift, which is an extension of Gulf Stream. I have a question for you. This is easier to understand. I know you're just carrying the evaporation and temperature. In one of the climatic conditions or one of the climatic regions, fishing is an important economic activity. And I did tell you we will have to revisit an ocean currents. Tell me which climatic condition, which climatic region? Where is fishing a dominant industry? In one of them. I'll have to walk like this right now. People, all three answers are wrong. One person said China climate, marine climate, British climate. Three people have said Peruvian current. I told one climatic region, fishing is the important industry. Tell me that. Industry, climatic region. Appo you're not open Gocheng Myong at all. People! Nane solravedi. Leave it. I will tell. There is one climate called Laurentian climate. You would not have studied this. You know why? This was coming at the terminal end. No, you would have learned over 3 climatic regions at the start. This exam comes, we will study. Why studying these climatic regions? This climate is found on the eastern side, cool temperate eastern margin. Still, some people might be wondering, this seems like Arabic. I've never heard of this. Climate is here, people. Laurentian climate is here. Cool temperate eastern margin. Is it fine? So the countries or the regions which were part of this world included Japan. Remember, Japan is an important fishing nation. Northeastern part of the United States, parts which include your St. Lawrence waterway, the Potomac countries, and your New York, Washington, D.C. and all that. So here, you have it in your notes. I'll write it now. The meeting of warm and cold ocean currents. Warm and cold ocean currents. Cold ocean currents leads to upwelling, thus promoting very good fishing grounds. Promoting good fishing grounds. Full stop. I'll give one example. Example, Kuroshio meeting with Oyashio. Kuroshio meeting with Oyashio. Kuroshio is a warm current, Oyashio is a cold current. Okay. Back then when we discussed, climatic regions, we do not have enough information. Like you do not know what is ocean current. So I had to just give you the input. Now I think we can discuss. See, the point is fairly simple. See, it's similar to frontogenesis. Very similar to frontogenesis. Two ocean currents are there. Usually when two fluid systems are present and they are of different temperature, when they join together, they cannot mix easily. That is why we had frontogenesis in climatology. Here we are talking about two water bodies. Warm current, different temperature. Cold current, different temperature, cannot mix easily. You get the idea? Fine. So what will happen is, you are not talking about circulation at the surface level alone. This is water. So circulation will be there on top surface of water. You will also have circulation between surface and the greater depth also. You get it? And we discussed upwelling. Whenever there is upwelling, cold nutrient-rich water will come to the surface. So cold nutrient-rich water will lead to growth of phytoplanktons. More phytoplanktons, more fishes. More fishes, better fishing industry. Okay. So Kuroshio Oyashio will be off the coast of Japan. So Japan has good opportunities for fishing. One more set of ocean currents mixing is Gulf Stream with Labrador current. One more reason why in the northeastern part of USA, fishing continues to be an important industry. Is it okay? So a combination of warm and cold ocean currents leads to upwelling. Upwelling is there. Naturally, there is better fish production. Okay. And one more additional point. This is one of the major reasons why Jack died. You know Jack? Jack died. Rose survived. That is the most important point. I will tell you why Jack died. People, one of the biggest tragedies. Bill Burr says Titanic is a horror film. You know why? All men in the film will die. Women will survive. If I say this, I will become chauvinist. You know. People don't know difference between humor and reality. Same concept. People listen. Surface temperature influences air temperature. Warm ocean current, cold ocean current. Upwelling below the surface of water. Okay, that will lead to contribution of nutrients and all that. That is below the surface. We'll talk about what happens above the surface. Surface air will be warm. Surface air will be cold. Difference in temperature, difficult to mix. Once there is difficulty in mixing, you will create a process similar to frontogenesis. Warm front, cold front and all that. Only thing is it is not as powerful as a cyclone. Final diagram, if you remember, you create something called as an occluded front. See, I am assuming you know these concepts. It's there in your notes already, occluded front. And in your occluded front, finally what will happen is warm air will be uplifted by cold air. You remember, cold air will be at the bottom, warm air will be on top. With increase in altitude, there will be temperature inversion. You would have learned this as frontal temperature inversion. We saw this. Increase in altitude, increase in temperature. So in the places where warm and cold currents are consistently meeting, you will have temperature inversion during night time. Some might think, why night time? Why not daytime? See, daytime, sun collapses the entire structure because your solar radiation is very powerful. So sun will have the capacity to disturb it. So meeting of them cold and warm. So under these conditions, what will happen is, close to the surface of water, you have cold air, is it not? So once cold air is present, there are chances that cloud formation will happen here itself. Because large number of air passes, you're reducing the temperature. So you will get cloud formation close to the surface. This is fog. See, mornings are not a problem because you have sunlight. Night times are terrible, especially for boats and ships which travel through this area. Navigation becomes very difficult. So the person, the stupid person who did not know to ride properly, he went and hit the ship against the iceberg and all men died. Is it not? So it's because of fog formation that Jack died in the film. Not just Jack, several people. Is it clear? Understood why Jack died? He would have lost that bet, man, that gambling match. He would not have gotten the ship at all. First, he should not have gotten the ship in the first place. Life would have been good. He would have lived for over 85 years of age. He seemed to be a healthy man only. Fate. Moving on. Okay. Now, beyond this, if you want to add impacts of ocean currents, you can derive points which are there from Walker circulation itself. You will definitely have 5 points from this. You want to add more. For example, because of Walker circulation, you have proper rainfall and monsoon in Indonesia, Australia. Okay. Fishing industry is very good in the coast of Ecuador, Peru. So those points you can derive from the discussion from yesterday. So that will make it 7 to 8 points. If they ask you a question on ocean currents, no problem. You'll have enough content. Okay. He should not have fallen in love. I am saying he should not have gotten in the ship in the first place. Then will that problem come? He would have minded his own business and survived. I don't know whether he would live properly. Now coming to the second type of movement. See, you take ocean currents. Ocean currents are movements which are derived based on two parameters, temperature and salinity. These two are the major factors which affect. Now, some might be asking the question, we never spoke about salinity. Think back. Temperature is a dominant factor which affects density. So, salinity will become a factor when temperature of two different regions are same. Only then salinity comes into picture. And salinity is the factor which drives deep ocean currents. Like, that's the major one. You got the reason. And I told you, like, deep ocean currents is not something which we learn as part of general studies. Okay, but if you get a question, does salinity affect ocean current? The answer is yes. Be careful for prelims. Because when they simply say ocean current, they mean deep ocean currents too. So this is done. Okay, temperature and salinity. Salinity mostly for deep currents, which we haven't studied in detail, just because it is not relevant for exam. Second type of movement, waves. This time you're talking about horizontal movement. And this horizontal movement is governed by wind. We will look at the definition. There is a subtle difference you need to understand. Okay, waves. It is the horizontal movement of energy when wind moves along the surface of water. Within bracket you just write transfers energy. Horizontal movement of energy when wind moves along the surface of water. So it's basically wind who's responsible. You brush against the surface, you create waves. Okay, create oscillations on the surface. Most important part of definition, crucial for a conceptual understanding, can be a question in prelims. The definition does not say horizontal movement of water. Definition says horizontal movement of energy when wind moves along surface of water. Always remember this. The particle will remain in the same position. That is, we are talking about the water molecule. Only energy will get transferred. Fine. So now we'll see the diagram. So you'll be in a position to relate to it. I'll read it one more time. Horizontal movement of energy when wind moves along the surface of water. Look at this. We have seen P waves and S waves. So in P waves, particles vibrate longitudinally along the direction of propagation. In S waves, particles vibrate transverse, that is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. When it comes to wave movement, like the movement of water molecules, it's a combination of both. There is a type of movement called oscillatory motion. It combines both horizontal oscillation and vertical oscillation. Oscillatory movement. One particle will move like this. You get the idea? Not only horizontal, not only vertical, like this. Here, so this is called as oscillatory motion. This is what happens in your wave. Oscillatory motion. So now let me represent using several molecules. This is my wind. Water surface. And this. Wave base. Draw this, I will explain. Use the word finished if you're ready. One response. Right. Now I think you'll be ready right now. So with the transmission of energy, you will see that the particle really doesn't care about anything. So this particle, individual particle, let's say this is 1, it will rotate along the same position. Second person will rotate, third person will rotate, fourth person will rotate. So the particles will rotate, energy gets transferred. That's all. Second point you need to understand, energy transfer is not just horizontal, because water layer 1, the topmost layer of water, will be connected to second layer, third layer, fourth layer. Is it not? So if on the surface you initiate oscillation, molecule in the second layer immediately south, this will also oscillate, this will oscillate, this will oscillate. Now if you think position, I would have written after a fourth layer it is kind of stopped. It doesn't go beyond that. See, the reason is with every descending layer there will be more energy loss due to friction, because it's not that it's always permanent, right? So there will be certain amount of friction between water layers. So you cannot transfer energy beyond a depth. But the depth up to which you can transfer energy vertically downward is called as wave base. Okay, that's what I've written here. This particular thing is called as wave base. That is depth up to which you can transfer energy. Wave base is the depth up to which you can transfer energy. Transfer energy. Next, we look at structure of the wave. Like, why do you have something called as wave structure? This doesn't explain structure properly, isn't it? Now, wave structure is obtained. Structure is obtained when adjacent particles oscillate alternately. And this requires explanation. See, I have written two colors. One is in green and one is in pink here. Green indicates one position. Okay, this is the first position. Like t is equal to 1 second or one particular point, you'll get a wave like this. This will be the wave which you see in water. Next second, immediately, or maybe within the next 0.5 seconds, wave will become like this. Like immediately, it will just be the opposite one. You see that the water will be oscillating up and down. Right? That's the structure you find. If you don't know this, you have not observed anything in the beach. You've gone to the beach and you're looking at somewhere else. Is it clear? This is what happens in the beach. Not the idea, water will oscillate like slightly up and down. Moving on. Now to appreciate this phenomenon, we'll take the example of smiley ball. Like why exactly it is happening. Okay. So I'll teach you smiley balls. Works like this. Okay, hold on. If we draw the next diagram. Next diagram will make it much, much easier. Fine. If you understood the second diagram, this diagram is very simple. I have a special smiley ball. Okay. Front side, the ball will smile at you. Back side, ball will become very sad. Is it clear? Front side, back side. Keep that as reference. We'll have 4 balls. All of them are smiling. Wind. Listen carefully. It's only a question of position. Simple position, that's all. I can touch the first particle first, only then touch the second particle, then third particle, then fourth particle. First instant, I won't touch him. So when I disturb him, what will happen? He'll become sad. So sad. That is, he starts to rotate. Is it clear? He's still smiling. He is still smiling. He is still smiling. Next instant, t is equal to 1.2. Sorry, 0.1. So 0.2 or something. As the wind progresses, so he has started to rotate right now. Wind is progressing. Now, I will touch second person. Second person becomes sad. See, now pay attention. The first molecule will go back to the original position because he has started rotating. Once you start rotating, he's sad right now. Next instant, he'll be happy. He's happy. He's happy. So, 2 people have started rotating. Look at the position. Position is on top, happy. Position is bottom, sad. Position is on top. Purida wave structure. Able to understand how this happens? I'll proceed for 2 more levels. See, 2 more diagrams I'll draw. Wind continues. He's continuing still. That's his third person. When you touch the third person, first person is rotating. Now next position, first person will be sad. First person is sad. Second person will become happy. He's sad already. He becomes happy. Third person will become sad right now. He's happy. Now all 3 of them are rotating. Started rotation, started rotation, started rotation. Now if you draw the wave, you know how it will be? First person is sad, bottom. Second person is happy. third person is sad, fourth person is happy. That's all. Got your wave. You understand how the wave structure is formed? Because adjacent particles vibrate alternately. That's how we get the structure. Now read that statement. Wave structure is obtained when adjacent particles which are nearby, will not have the same position. They'll be in alternating positions. Got it? If you understood this, then the job is done. Just correlate. Okay? Take this down and use the word finished. Don't draw this in exam and keep. This is understanding. Draw the previous one in exam. This is not you won't find in NCERT, people. Thank you. Now we will need to appreciate an important character. Then we'll need to apply that to tsunami. That's all. Just application to tsunami. The tsunami, contrary to popular perception, it's really not that dramatic. Once you know the concept, you'll be like, oh, that's all. That is tsunami. Devastation will be high. That is different. I know that you show off to your friends right now. Telling your friend, hey, this is how earthquakes are there. This is why Japan has more earthquakes. Especially those working professionals, when they go to office, there's something appears in the newspaper. Especially budget, you should see those working people right now. After learning economics and all, they go to the office and then show off. See, actually, government is going for increase in capital expenditure and all that and that. Is it clear? So, two responses. Shall I move on? Of course, even if you explain properly, your friends won't understand anything. That is different. They are dummies. Preparing for UPSC gives you that edge. It's like you carry a badge everywhere. I know something which you don't know. Fine. So there is a nature about waves. Okay, waves have a longer wavelength. And shorter height in deep sea, but shorter wavelength and longer height will be shorter wavelength and are taller. The sentences are not formed well. And are taller near the coast. This is the general character. This is one of the reasons why tsunamis seem very dangerous. Okay, this is their nature. We need to analyze why. Waves have a longer wavelength and shorter height in deep sea. Once they reach the coastal area, they become shorter and taller. The process is called wave shoaling. We'll see why wave shoaling occurs. If colleagues are also UPSC aspirants, then it may be opposites. Yes, that I accept. Okay, that is totally fine. See, I cannot go and show off in front of economics faculty. I know only geography. Or slightly 1.001% geography I may know extra. That's all. Is it not? Moving on. See, it's more applying your concept of wave-based. That is why we introduced wave-based right here. Is it fine? So I'll show you what happens. Two things. We'll take an analogy, apply the same analogy. In India, the most important thing to follow traffic, whether you decide whether you need to follow traffic rules or not, is not the fines, but the presence of whether a police inspector is there. If traffic police inspector is there, then the signal has value. If not, no problem. It can be there, no respect at all. Green signal. This is you. You try to fast the cancellate as much as possible because time says only 5 seconds. Okay. One more person is here. This person is coming even more fast because he has a more distance to cover now compared to you. He also sees 5 seconds. Both of you try your level best. You come here. Okay. When you're almost touching here, time gone. Yellow over red came. Traffic police is standing here itself. Okay. can't do anything. Bad words will come, but still you'll stop the vehicle. Okay, could not catch the light. Once you stand here, X will also come and stand very close to you. He was cold even more. That is different. But anyway, you'll have to wait for next 90 seconds. Point is, there was a factor of resistance. This factor of resistance made sure that both of you have reduced your distance. Meaning, at the start, the distance between you and him are very, very high. Correct? But once you were stopped first, you had no other option to go. You were stopped. X was able to cover the distance and reduce the distance. Correct? Now he's standing very close by to you. I don't think you have any doubt here. If you have any doubt here, this is not even a scenario to have explained. Got it? You have the same phenomenon happening in the oceans too. Y and X are two different columns of water, and the traffic policeman is your shoreline. We'll see what happens. See, in your deep sea, okay, if this is your wave oscillations are very long. Because for the rotation of particles, there is absolutely no resistance. So you have rotation. Maybe this is one wave column, and this is one wave column. No problem. The distance will be very, very high. They have absolutely no problem at all. So the wavelength is very high. Okay, and there is no concept of too much height also. See, that is why you stare into the deep sea, the waves will never seem prominent. Only when you stand near the coastal area, the height will become prominent. We'll see height component also. First, you look at wave component. Now, same wave, same energy, wind energy, let's say it's moving towards your coastal area. See what happens. I'll draw this line. Okay. Now, you take the same column and try to represent very close right here. See what happens. 1, 2, 3. You take the fourth person. Fourth person starts facing resistance. This is the one we talked about, the line and the traffic police. Get the idea? Now, if you face a resistance, it's difficult for the column to properly rotate and move forward. You're able to understand it because you're closer to the shore. Deep water, no problem. You can actually have as much waveways as possible. Same location here, resistance is there. But for the person here, no issues at all. So there is absolutely no concept of forward movement. The distance will naturally get reduced. That is why longer waves become shorter waves. You get it? So it becomes much, much shorter when you reach the coastal area. Point 1 is clear. So why is the wavelength getting reduced? Wavelength is reduced because there is more resistance offered by the shallow coastal. Write that. Wavelength reduces. Wavelength reduces as there is more resistance offered by the shallow coast, shallow shore or shallow coast. Now you face resistance naturally, just like the traffic police example. The second person will cover the distance. So naturally the wavelength will become small. You're working from home, not able to show that edge. Time will come, don't worry. And secondly, that is not the reason we are studying UPSC, so no problem. Okay. Wavelength reduces as there is more resistance offered by the shallow coast. Use the word finish if you're ready. Simple concept. So now wavelength has become shortened. Here it was long. Here it has become short. Long to short. Second point is, why does it become tall? Right, several responses, thank you. Moving on. See, understanding why it is tall is quite easier. Same diagram or similar diagram. I'll just take one component. I need not even need two individuals to explain this. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I transfer energy, I can transfer vertically because of greater depth. So which means the height will be less, low height. Because most of the energy goes vertically downward. I will try to draw the same column here. See, it is like a person taking steroids. Or let's keep it this way. A good amount of food is there, okay, and the food is shared between 4 people. So 4 people share their food. So your wave doesn't really become tall. Now, same amount of energy or same amount of food, you transfer it to your shallow region, see what happens. Layer 1, you only have layer 2. Even for layer 2, you'll have to struggle. If you cannot transfer the energy vertically downward, where will you transfer the energy? Automatically, energy will go vertically up. That's all. It's like less number of water molecules are there, but only 2 molecules are having the same energy as 4 molecules. So you cannot transfer it down. It will vertically move up. That is why the waves are taller. Okay. So the reason the waves look very dramatic for tsunami is waves will be shorter and taller. Shorter we have seen in the previous slide. So this is the structure which you get for tsunami. So a stream of waves will come together. You get the idea? So waves are tall. This is the component. Waves are tall as energy cannot be transferred vertically downward. Transferred vertically downward. Vertically downward. As depth is less. Depth is less. Full stop. This increases height. I think that is infinite. Waves are tall, as you already established. Okay. Now for tsunami. So the structure of tsunamis will be pretty much same. This is not just for a single wave. Tsunami will have a similar structure. Very long and fast and short in deep waters. Once it comes towards the shore, it becomes tall and short and of slightly low velocity because there is more resistance. The only thing which we need to concern ourselves is with the mechanism. Okay, what makes tsunamis? That's all. Okay. So I'll move on further. Those who have enabled the video, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Right? Okay, thank you. Moving on. Done? Fine. Now we'll understand tsunamis. Are waves with a height of 10 times above average. 10 times above average. So this average will vary depending upon the coastline. Okay, based on coast. Based on coast. It's a Japanese word. It's a Japanese word which means harbor waves. Meaning harbor waves. They are caused by 4 factors. If you understand the first factor, all the 3 it's the same thing. Caused by earthquakes, landslides, volcanic eruptions, that is underwater, of course. Underwater volcanoes. Water volcanoes. And number 4, very rarest of rare cases, meteorites. We will study case 1 because the same reason will get repeated for the other 3. This is the most common factor actually, most common of all of them, earthquakes. Now we'll step in. See, when we say earthquakes, you have to be careful. Let's say give a prelims statement. All tsunamis are caused by earthquakes. Technically wrong because tsunamis can be caused by other factors. One more statement. All earthquakes cause tsunami, perfectly wrong. All underwater earthquakes cause tsunami, perfectly wrong again. Not all the earthquakes have the potential to cause tsunami. So I will explain the mechanism. You yourself will come to a conclusion which type of earthquakes really have the potential. So the area is a convergent plate margin. We are not talking about divergence. First I'll take you there. Convergent plate margin. Same story with modification. The only thing is it's underwater right now. An ocean plate is sinking inside. Continental plate. Of course, over the surface, it is becoming folded and all. Okay, I'm not going to the folding part. Maybe it is after this, it's becoming a mountain and all. This is the beach. This is you. Don't worry, you won't die. This is surface of water. Okay. Convergence. See, when we studied plate tectonics, we studied the overall concept as is convergence is there, one person is sinking. But in reality, okay, this is a very complicated process. The reason being, ocean plate is highly dense. Second thing, ocean plate is not ocean plate, like any plate for that matter, is not going to be smooth. It's not as if we have Gillette. So using Gillette, we will scrape all the rocks so that the plate is very smooth going into asthenosphere. Nothing like that. Okay, the plate is very rugged. You won't have the thing. So let's say that the plate sinks inside asthenosphere. You take the palm, for example. You take this segment, the knuckles are not very smooth. So let's say ocean plate moves inside the asthenosphere. 50 years, 100 years, 150 years. There will be certain areas in the plate where there are rough edges. Rough edges are there, there'll certainly be resistance. See, it's like trying to arrange your bookshelf or trying to pack. There will be certain rough edges where you need to smoothen it out. Now, once you hit the rough edge, please note, ocean plate is stronger. You cannot mess with the ocean plate, but continental plate is weak. So who will get modified? Continental plate will actually get modified. It will actually get bent even further because it is locked here. So due to rigidity or roughness of a certain section of ocean plate, the continental plate gets locked. So we put it here. Okay. Continental plate is locked. Maybe it is due to roughness. Now, once you've locked the mechanism, continental plate will slowly start bending. He's a heavier person. For him, no problem. Problem for this guy only. Slowly starts bending like this. So if this is the idea, if there is collision, slowly start to bend. Okay, more like, you try to bend this paper, this paper. Just for reference. So if this is the case, you've locked in, this is the plate. Slowly the plate begins to bend here. You're able to understand? So this segment, which is your continental plate, begins to bend like this, right? This way. So slowly, but definitely, we will see a video at last, but I want you to visualize first. Slowly bends. Don't need blue color, need yellow itself. Slowly begins to bend. So when I begin to bend, you know what will happen, right? Pressure is there. Okay, there is so much of pressure, energy is getting accumulated. The locking mechanism can stay there for 100 years. The pressure will get built. 200 years, more and more, bends, more and more energy getting locked. 250, 300 years. But definitely one point of time, all that locked and kept is, if paper is like this, it's moving in, it's locked here. After a point of time, you know what will happen? Eventually, continental plate will need to move up. After locking, just gets that one single flip. It is going to happen one day. We do not know when. 250 years later, 300 years later, the plate regains its position. But when it regains its position, it's going to send an enormous, massive earthquake where large number of water molecules get hit vertically. Okay, so due to that flip, which you get, plate will become normal. It's for the plate, it is nothing. It's just adjusting itself. But that slight amount of adjustment kicks a heavy volume of water vertically up. See, these type of earthquakes are dip-slip earthquakes. We are not talking about strike-slip earthquakes. Now I should recollect memory for you. Dipping, striking. Remember, fault block mountains we saw. Dipping is vertical movement. It is there in your notes. Dip-slip is falling down. This is a vertical movement earthquake. So a dip-slip earthquake sends large volume of water spiraling up. So once you create a spiral, the seawater level will increase in the center. See, I have drawn the diagram in 2 dimension, but actually this is more like a mound, more like a hilly mountain. In a 3-dimensional, it will move everywhere. After the water level rises, it will snap and energy will travel here, energy will travel here, energy will travel in all directions. The reason people say you are safe during tsunamis in deep sea is because in deep sea, the height of the tsunami is very less. It is not going to disturb you. Stand here, you'll be thrown to a coconut tree. If you have very good acrobatic skills, maybe you can cling on to something. Is it okay? One more dimension we need to address before we see the video. Dimension is, see, you take Chennai's, not Chennai, like the tsunami of 2004, December 26, which affected a good percentage of countries surrounding your South Asia, which started in Indonesia, Sumatra Island. Before the start of tsunami, the waves, not the waves actually, the seawater receded a good number of meters into the sea, maybe at certain parts even close to a kilometer. So people were really excited. Okay, that seawater is, no, they've never seen that happen. So to see the seawater reception when people went to the coastal area, it proved detrimental to them. So we just need to address this. Why would your seawater recede? You understood that dimension, then the understanding is complete. Look at this. In certain songs and films, this will be there. The hero will be lying down here. This is called hammock. I don't know why they do this. Forget that. Picture a hammock. In this, I'm filling cricket balls or football or basketball, something. Many balls are there. Look at this. Pay attention. Understood this? Then this session you can explain. Very simple. This is the case. What I'll do is this bottom position I'll choose. I'll give heavy force and then hit the bottom. Just like that. Okay. Once I give a huge amount of pull, all the balls in this vertical axis are going to jump up. Correct? How many seconds do you think? Only for a few seconds? Not more than that. Not even, maybe not even complete 1 second. At times maybe 0.7. If there is movement of balls here, the person on the right side or the person on the left side will try to capture the central position. So what will happen? He will try to move towards center. Sir, I will come and occupy, sir. 1 second space is there. He will try to come and move towards the center. He will come. Finally, the person on the extreme side, isn't it? Please understand, he is not going to occupy the central position. That is not his intention. He is moving because space is vacated close to him. You vacate space close to him, he'll go here. Understood this? Then the entire position will become normal within 1 second. So once it becomes normal, the balls will retain their own position. Same thing is applicable for tsunami also. Bottommost portion of water, given the vertical push, person who is very close by, this level of water, maybe few kilometers here, they'll come here. Water comes here. Water comes here. Water comes here. That is why coastal water recedes. But point is, only for few minutes. After receding, the level is over. Tsunami has already come down to the normal level, sea level. The recession has started. Once you have a tsunami, the water which has started to recede will simply rejoin again. That's all. Rejoin and come back with a vengeance. That's it. So that's why seawater recedes. Got the idea? A slow but significant change. So dip-slip earthquake. Only dip-slip earthquakes are capable of causing tsunamis. Is it fine? A seawater recedes as there is a temporary vacuum. There is a temporary vacuum causing displacement of water. Vacuum means open space. Temporary water causing displacement of water. Is it fine? Now we'll see the video. Use the word finish if you're ready. Like now if you look at the animation, it should be comfortable. Yes, one response. Right, multiple. See, the audio is not required. It's only a 25-second video. Just the animation. That would do. 25 seconds, that's all. Ocean plates, continental plate, right? So this area, that is the area where they see the locking mechanism is there. See what happens. Look at the bent position also. So it gets locked, creep is slow movement. Focused on there. He'll try to regain his position, that's all. That's it. So for the plate, it is nothing. For people who live on land, only problem. One more time. Just that vertical push. Dip slip movement. That's it. So then your water moves on to either side. Able to appreciate further? So that's what you've actually drawn. Some might be thinking, sir, your diagram was not as clear as this. 2-dimension, 3-dimension, colorful, several factors are there. Is it okay? I think you got the idea. Now let's address that remaining 3 factors, how things work. Is it fine? Is there any other reason for displacement of water takes place without earthquake? Yes, of course, I'm about to address that. See, similar to earthquakes, if condition, if landslides, underwater volcanoes, and the meteorites. You know what meteorites are. We had a small, just not a small introduction, just a one-line introduction when we studied your interior of the Earth. Meteorites are cosmic objects which breach the Earth atmosphere and reach the Earth's surface. In this case, Earth's ocean surface. So if landslides, underwater volcanoes, or meteorites can vertically displace water, then they can cause tsunamis. So mechanism, so 2, 3 and 4, all the remaining 3 causative factors, the mechanism and reason will be same. Only thing is they should cause vertical displacement. This is where you understand one point. This is the reason earthquakes are the most powerful factor. You take landslides or volcanic eruptions, they are not as powerful as a dip slip earthquake, to send the entire volume of water piling up. You take these 2 factors, landslides or underwater volcanoes, this might affect or this might create tsunamis very locally. Like for example, maybe a few hundred kilometers, few hundred. There is a tsunami in Indonesia, like only in parts of Indonesia. Okay, or you get something in the coast of Japan, only for parts of Japan, landslides and underwater volcanoes, because they're not powerful as an entire plate tilting your volume of water. Meteorites is give and take. Like we don't have any, see, first of all, meteorites reaching the surface of the Earth, itself is extremely rare. So this is not something which we might see in our lifetime. Rarest of rare. These 2, remember, they will cause tsunamis, but strength of tsunami will be less compared to earthquake. These are the most powerful. Always remember the relationship. Is it okay? I think that answers your question. Shall we move to tides right now? If you've understood this. Tide. Fine. Soap powder. It is a vertical movement of water. Yeah, it is the vertical movement. Movement of water brought about by interaction, by the gravitational interaction. Gravitational interaction between or the sun, the moon, and the earth. Sun, moon, and the earth. First, understanding what is tide. That is the most important part. Okay. Vertical movement of water brought about by the gravitational interaction of or among 3 celestial bodies, sun, moon, and the earth. See, I'll tell you now itself. Solar eclipse, lunar eclipse style, I will tell at the last. Don't ask that question at the start. First theory. After theory, like within theory itself, you need to understand gravitation and centrifugal force. After that, why Newton's theory is not applicable to several parts of the world. Then frequency of tides. Then modification by sun. Spring tide, neap tide. After that, only subtle variations will come. Don't ask me, sir, in Paurnami, tide, Paurnami means full moon. In Paurnami time, why are tides coming up? Ask in the start now. I'll explain in the last. Okay. First visual. People note. Standing in the coastal area. Normal or average water level without any disturbance. Let's say this is your mean position. Just like oscillation. Entire water level moving vertically up. Water level itself moving vertically up. This is high tide position. Water level receding back. This is low tide position. Please note, waves can occur anywhere. Waves simply are caused due to wind and water interaction. Waves can be here. Waves can be in high tide position. Waves can be in low tide position. It doesn't matter. Because in colloquial language, you used to say that sea water is receding back. Water level is dropping down. Okay, one more way to say, so sea water is pulling us back. Water level is dropping, that's all. Please don't use those words. Water level completely drops. Now, if you look from your position, see from your position, this is you. Okay, see from, oh yeah, sorry, face was sad. See from your position, it will seem that water level has receded during low tide. Water level is not receded. Water level has fallen down. So from your position, you will see like water has receded backward. No, that's not the right interpretation. Level moving up, high tide. Level moving down, low tide. Waves can occur anywhere. First, this you get inside your mind properly. Is it clear? This is okay, no? Simple thing. Fine then. Now we'll understand theory of tides. People, exam purpose, this is enough. This theory of tides. Don't do further research. Even for optional, okay, even for geography optional, the basic, like there are 2 to 3 subtle variations. Even those variations are still under research only. Learn the basic theory, that is more than enough. Okay. Don't try to become an oceanographer. Start diving inside Andaman Nicobar Islands, getting a passport to Maldives. Don't do that. Tides. Theory. I will explain the theory, then I'll give you a break. Is it fine? The theory of tides was given by Isaac Newton. Once I say Isaac Newton, first you won't believe me. You know why? Because he lived, I don't know, 300 or 400 years earlier. See, but actually it was Isaac Newton. Because he is not the father of physics. He's the second father of physics, maybe. First father is Einstein, comes very, very close to the achievements of Albert Einstein. So when he developed his gravitation theory, and of course, like he was the chief of physics until Albert Einstein came in. So his laws and everything was very important. He determines your centrifugal force and all that. So he's interested in 3 body problems. Tides are associated with moon, sun, and the earth. So several factors are involved. So Newton is the one who came up with this theory, and even today, which is in your textbook, is actually Newton's theory of tides, even though they have not mentioned it. Is it fine? So we'll be studying your theory based on gravitational force and centrifugal force. And we will keep the sun outside our discussion. Sun is a 3-body problem that introduces modifications. Our discussion will be with reference to Earth and the moon alone. Is it fine? 2 parts. So Earth and the moon. First, we look at gravitational attraction. Okay. I'll take 2 points. Point A, which is facing the moon, and point B, which is diametrically opposite to the moon. The moon is a small celestial body, of course, but moon can introduce modifications in atmosphere and your hydrosphere. Why we don't talk about atmospheric tides? Not very significant, doesn't affect our lifestyle, nothing. Okay, so but your hydrosphere, yes, it is. And please note, in case Earth had 2 moons, the system would be too complex, and Earth's velocity itself can be affected. Because 2 different moons are there, they pull in different directions. See, it's like you're trying to control the oceans. By controlling oceans, you can affect the Earth's rotational velocity also. Luckily, we have 1 moon. Even 1 moon has a significant impact. According to Newton's law of gravitation, let's just understand the proportionality. The gravitational force of attraction is proportional to your masses. If 2 masses are involved. Is it clear? And the second most important component is that it's inversely proportional to its distance. Fine. For starters, not very comfortable with formulae, just understand this. If you're very close by, it's much easier for gravitational force to act on you. If the object is very far away, gravitational force is becoming very, very feeble, right? So you take your point A close to the moon. So naturally, the water molecules in point A will have a greater attraction towards the moon, right? You take the point B, like points B is in the same axis. Okay, it's in the same axis as moon, diametrically opposites. Point B will experience less attraction, less. Okay, because it's very, very far away. It's the other side of the earth. This is fine now. Any doubts here? Simple enough. Yeah, this is fine. Shall I move on? No complications here. Second one. First, you should understand centrifugal force. Centrifugal force occurs when two bodies are in rotation. We'll break it down. What is this? Tell me, what is this? This is, did I ask any? Very good. Ringa ringa rose. Okay. Two individuals holding hands and then doing ringa ringa rose. You know ringa ringa rose, people hold hands and then rotate with an intention to break their back and fall down, get fracture and all that. So two individuals are doing ringa ringa rose. See, people, when you do ringa ringa rose, there are two forces acting, even though you don't realize. Like the person on the opposite side is pulling you towards the center, right? You experience an inward pull. This inward pull is called centripetal force. This one, centripetal. Centripetal. Fine. Same time, to balance your inward centripetal force, when you experience that, you will actually have a feeling that you're falling outward, like this. It's not. Thanks to the person who's holding you on the other side, you actually feel as part of the rotational circle. So the outward force which you feel when you undergo ringa ringa rose is your centrifugal force. This one, outward force. Centrifugal. Forget centripetal for now. That is not how the theory is based. We're more concerned about the fugal one. I will take two parts of my body, my hand or maybe my palm. Position 1. Second part, I'll take my backbone. Ringa ringa rose. You tell me, between my hand, between my backbone, which will experience more outward centrifugal force? Hand or backbone? One or two? Right, it is two. Fine. Because you are very far away from the center. The more close you are to the center, the other person is actually influencing and holding your hand back. So no problem. But backbone, that is not the case. Very far away from the center. See, the thing is, when two objects are in rotation, the more you move far away from the center, your outward centrifugal force will increase. This is the point. Now, the thing is, when you learn the statement that Earth is revolving around, the Earth is revolving around the sun, or the moon is revolving around the Earth, it's only partly true. Like the technical definition is, both the objects are revolving around each other around a common point. The common point is called as barycenter. See, visualize this. If Earth is a body and moon is a small object, naturally moon should be attracted by the gravitational pull of the Earth. Because Earth, the moon is very small. Same thing can be said with reference to your sun and Earth too. They should get attracted. So technically both are under motion. The common center is barycenter, which means Earth and moon are doing ringa ringa rose, which means centrifugal force will be an option. Got it? So Earth and the moon. Don't write ringa ringa rose. Earth and the moon. Rotate around. Earth and the moon rotate around a common barycenter, bringing centrifugal force into operation. Centrifugal force into operation. Full stop. Tide definition. Why suddenly this question? Tide definition, force let itself vanish, no? Vertical movement of water caused by gravitational attraction. It's there in the slide already. Yeah, I like the merry-go-round. Very good. Right. Earth and the moon rotate around a common barycenter, bringing centrifugal force into operation. Is it clear? Now we'll just apply the centrifugal force on points A and B. Ready? Shall I move on? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, fine. Moving on. Applying it. This time not gravitational force, centrifugal. Point A is very close to the center. He will not experience too much centrifugal force, just like the palm, hand. Less centrifugal force. Point B is my backbone. Backbone is very far away from barycenter. High amount of centrifugal force. Is it clear? Take this diagram. Now we'll combine both of them. So A close to barycenter, B away. Hand, backbone. Backbone too much. Simple diagram. Now we're going to combine. Now you take your tides. It's a result of combination of gravitational attraction and centrifugal force operation. So if they give you, if there is a question in prelims, gravitational attraction of the sun, correct. Gravitational attraction of the moon, correct. Sun we will learn later anyway. Centrifugal force of the earth, if they mention, the answer is right. Okay, so don't neglect centrifugal force in your options if you get it in questions. That's the role which is pushing things outside. Now, when you want your tides, you need to combine both of them. I'll combine them based on gravity, point A and point B. We'll finish this and give you a break. A experiences more, B experiences less. Centrifugal force, point A, point B. B experiences more, A experiences less. Now, we'll need to add both of them. Adding the two forces. Two forces. See what happens. People, just listen for a second. I'll give you time to draw. No problem. Because we're just combining. So you should know where exactly high tide and low tide is. Fine. Just take a minute for the final diagram. Pay attention. Point A, the force caused by gravity is more compared to centrifugal force. Higher attraction. So in point A, you'll get a net outward pull. Why? Gravity is more than centrifugal. Simple. Take point B, reverse condition is true. Centrifugal is more compared to gravity. Because of that, you will experience again net outward pull. See, the ocean systems of the world are connected. Okay. So if you expand water here, always remember water volume is constant. So water will expand towards A, here, this way. Water will also expand towards B. If water expands in both directions, I'll give you two more points. Okay, we'll call it C and D here. C and D. Volume is constant. Here if you expand, it's like pushing this. No. Here if you expand, in the center water will decline, isn't it? So in points C and D, there will be a decline in water level. People, in points A and B, you will experience high tide. Here also high tide. This push is reducing things here, no. So in point C and point D, you will experience low tide. So always remember, based on moon's position, in one instant, you will get these effects. It's not isolated only to A. A and B high tide, C and D low tide. Okay, I'll write the statement. Now we copy the diagram. So points A and B. A, B. Facing the moon. Facing the moon. And I think one by one I'll write here itself. Even if there's lack of space, we just make sure the idea is conveyed properly. High tide occurs in points A and B. That is the area facing the moon. And point B, which is diametrically opposite to the moon. Diametrically opposite to the moon. Low tide occurs in two places, point C and D. Point C and D. Okay, which are perpendicular. Perpendicular. Yeah, perpendicular to moon-earth axis. Perpendicular to moon-earth axis. This is moon-earth axis. I'll use a pink color line. This is moon-earth axis connecting this point. Okay. This is perpendicular, 90 degrees. 90 degrees. C and D, perpendicular to moon earth axis. They will experience low tide. Okay. Take your time and draw. Realize and draw when you do that. Theory was given by Isaac Newton. So he gave this in 17th century itself. What a man. Hmm. But isn't you know the character of Newton, and it is said, like, based on the accounts which you've received, Isaac Newton was a very arrogant man. Of course, he's the best in the world, or he was the best in the world. So he was very arrogant. And if there are certain theories which Newton doesn't like, the theory will never see the light. If you cross Isaac Newton, you'll not find any job in any university in Europe. It's so important. Scientific gangster, something like that. Is it clear? It's always a combination, isn't it? When skill is way too high, it, you know, people are like that. Very rarely you'll find humility. Use it in ethics. Don't think I'm saying something completely random. In ethics, you can't write Jack and Rose, of course, but this you can definitely do. Done? Use the word finish if you're ready, or give me a thumbs up. Clear? Right now, so people have enabled the video, got it? Thank you. Now, thing is, this is the acceptable theory for a long time. Even today, like, this is what is taught to students. I'm still teaching you. But you should understand why this theory is a failure. Failure is a very strong word. Why this theory cannot explain tides in several parts of the world. I think that's a better way of presentation. Take a break for 5 minutes. We'll understand the flaws with the theory. And today, what are the tidal theories? Then we'll go to frequency. Then we look at the impact of sun. 5 minutes. There's one question alone. What are the impacts of ocean currents on marine life? See, to answer this question, I think I need to have an analogy with wind systems. Just like wind systems have the potential to determine your climatic regions, ocean currents along the areas which they move, certain parts will be warm, certain parts will be cold. So they will influence productivity. Productivity meaning, I'm talking about the growth of plants, and whenever there is growth of plants, naturally it will support large number of marine organisms. We will see coral reefs once tides are over, and you will actually observe that coral reefs will survive only in areas of warm ocean currents because cold ocean currents are detrimental to them. So depending on that location, presence of coral reefs will govern biodiversity like anything because they are much more potential than rainforests. Same surface area of coral reefs, you compare coral reefs with your rainforest area, coral reefs will have a very large ecosystem. So based on the position of ocean currents, based on the movement of ocean currents, the location of your marine organisms and the productivity of your marine life is determined. So that's the impact. Okay, and all the other things, right from rainfall patterns. So which means it indirectly governs your salinity concentration. Certain organisms prefer more saline conditions. Certain organisms prefer less saline conditions. All that comes into picture. So that's your answer. In case you want to write a mains perspective, just given the seeds, you can definitely develop. The theory is good, not great. See, this theory is applicable if the entire Earth was only made of water, just water body, 100%, perfectly applicable. But it's not true. Earth has landmass, and even if it is landmass, distribution of landmass between northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere is not the same. And through observation, they found one important point. What did they understand? See, if Newton's theory is right, this is the Earth. This is one longitude, any longitude. This is moon. If moon is in this position, you should get high tides. If I'm facing this particular point, you should get high tides everywhere. It doesn't matter here, it doesn't matter here, it doesn't matter here. The entire longitude facing the moon should experience high tides, correct? That's what should happen because all the points should get high tides. In reality, it was not found to be true. Like several points either had an early tidal range or later they had one more tidal range. So it never really occurred. So then there were several theories. They came across theories called as a progressive wave theory, where they tried to relate waves between southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere are different. So waves from southern hemisphere or tides from southern hemisphere leads to tides in northern hemisphere. This theory will also get discarded. Today's understanding is this. I'll tell you what is the idea. Today's understanding is called as your stationary wave theory. Okay, and to understand stationary wave theory, I'll take you to amphidromic points. Amphidromic points is there which you learn in science and technology. This is just a correlation and analogy. Is it clear? Amphidromic points. Okay, just tell me this. Do you know amphidromic points? Is it handled in science and technology? I don't know. Just give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Those who enable the video. I can see in your face itself. You are like, no chance. Like, we don't know what it is. Fine, I will show you. Okay, just one single picture. Amphidromic points. Okay. It's in space, and India is focusing on amphidromic points for our Aditya mission. Okay, where we try to analyze the sun. So I'll just show you amphidromic points, space, right? Lagrangian points. So this is the points in space. So amphidromic points was the reference to oceans, right? Lagrangian points. Yeah, sorry, Lagrangian points you learned in science and technology? Yes, no? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yeah, fine. So pardon me, like the mistake was mine. Okay, I was supposed to say Lagrangian and I said amphidromic. Amphidromic is the correlated phenomenon oceans. Now let's revise Lagrangian just for you. Lagrangian points are points in space where gravitational force cancels each other, isn't it? So this is related to your Aditya mission. So L1, L2, no chance we will launch here and all, okay? 1 and 2 is possible, maybe 5 and 4. Fine, this is very, very far away. So if you place an object in Lagrangian point or Lagrangian position, you will not experience any disturbance, so ideal for satellite location. This you learned in science and technology. Very good. Similar to Lagrangian points, you have points called as amphidromic points in the oceans. So let me just go to the page, previous one. Right. Fine, so for example, Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, listen. Not for exam. I told you, like Newton's theory is enough. This is the current development. Amphidromic points are points where you will not experience any tides. It will vary with reference to ocean. You take Indian Ocean, there will be few amphidromic points. That is, so how a tide won't come? The meaning is this. So let's say this is your Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean has a bathtub. Fine. Exactly in the amphidromic point, water will not rise. Surrounding amphidromic points, you'll have high tides and low tides. High tide may be here, high tide here, low tide here, low tide here. This might be actual water level. Exactly in this blue color point, perfect location, just like Lagrangian. Meaning makes sense. So today, if you're an oceanographer, what you will do is, if Indian Ocean is there, so you see the amphidromic points, you'll go to the amphidromic points, points where tides will not occur, surrounding it. So keeping amphidromic points as reference, you will start to study tides. You know, where does your tides originate? Is it on the left? Is it on the right? Does it follow clockwise rotation, anti-clockwise rotation, and all that? This is current study. Just know this. I'll give it as a paragraph, but not required from exam perspective. Is it okay? These things have changed. You won't get this either in prelims or in mains, but I just wanted to introduce. The current study of tides. Current study of tides is centered around amphidromic points. Full stop. These points in ocean basins do not experience tides. Full stop. The tides occur around them. So current studies, you go there, you locate amphidromic points and study the tidal range, north of it, south of it, west of it, east of it. That is the way. Would these points help in navigation? No, not exactly. See, I'll tell you the reason why. The objective of tides, studying tides is more relevant or more helpful when it comes to your harbors. That is the last point. I will close with that. Like your harbors, you know, where exactly you are. So if you want to, like if the question meant moving into the harbor and outside the harbor, if that is the meaning of the word navigation, then it's totally fine. But for movement, not much. But for harbors, yes, when to move inside the harbor and move outside the harbor. Is it clear? Coral reefs have impacts from ocean currents and also global warming. Yes. Now let's talk about frequency of tides. Tidal frequency. You asked me what is this? It's the Earth and Moon. Okay. We will understand for a second. Just hold on. I'll tell you what the diagram is. You may be thinking, what is this guy simply drawing 8 circles? See, this is top view of the Earth. Top view meaning you're either on a satellite or you're Superman. Okay, you're flown outside the Earth and from your position looking at the Earth and Moon. So this is Earth and this is Moon. Now we are going to understand in one location for a 24-hour cycle, what is the ideal condition? Like how many tides you should experience. That is our objective. 24 hours divided by 4 is equal to 6. Important for CSATs. Is it clear? So this point X is Chennai. Chennai has a coastal area. Fine. So post 6 hours, leave 6 hours first. You will take 12 hours. 12 hours will be much easier for you to understand. Chennai is here. After going in anti-clockwise rotation, in 12 hours, Chennai will be in the exact opposite direction. Correct? Exact opposite direction. 6 hours, it will complete first quadrant. 6 hours, 12 hours, 18th hour. 18th hour will be here. 3 quadrants will be complete. 18 hours. So 24-hour cycle. So in a 24-hour cycle, we look at Chennai. Ready? First, 0th hour. This is the position. 6th hour, 12th hour, 18th hour. Position is drawn. Because you draw your tidal position based on my moon only. Ready? Look at point 1. At 0th hour, this point X, Chennai, is experiencing high tide. So first you'll get high tide. Okay? So facing the moon, obviously. After 6 hours, if you're extending here, water level will be decreasing here, which means Chennai will experience low tide or should be experiencing low tide. 12 hours later, this is point B. Point A facing the moon. Point B diametrically opposite to the moon. So here, opposite direction, full Chennai experiences high tide. 18th hour, third quadrant, you push like this, here you'll experience low tide. Ideally, I'll again stress on this word ideal. Ideally, this point X or a place which has a coastal area should experience 2 high tide and 2 low tide in 24 hours and 52 minutes. Where does the 52 minute come? I'll need next slide. Copy this first. What happens if we stand on amphidromic points when high tide's nearby? Nothing will happen to you, man. You will stand like God, okay, or Swamiji. Surrounding you, water will oscillate. Okay, you will be like God. Superposition. If you know amphidromic points, locate yourself, take a video and post photograph. So you are the center of gravity and all. You can post on YouTube. But finding amphidromic point is difficult. For that, you need to spend so many rupees. Is it clear? But moon is also revolving, right? Mr. Vasant, please wait. Other 52 minutes I have written, no. Please wait. At the next slide I told. Okay. Use the word finish if you're ready. When the position of the moon change here, Mr. GV, 52 minutes I told, wait. I'm telling you, wait. I didn't complete. Patience. Patience, patience, patience. Use the word finished if you're ready. Okay, to response video, okay, the people who have enabled the video already responded. Nice, okay. Now, Mr. GV and Mr. One more person asked no. Vasant, your answer comes here. See, actually it should have been 24 hours. I should have stopped there. But I've added 52 minutes. Why? Because as both of you have mentioned, moon is revolving around the earth. Good observation, good. So you take your earth. By the time X comes here, see, it's like this. You're like, you make one rotation, after making one rotation, tada, you stand, the person won't be there. The person would have moved here. So once you try to finish your rotation and try to face the moon would have actually moved one more location here. Why? Because the moon is not constant. The moon is actually revolving around the earth. Like it's slowly moving in a span of 28 to 29 days. So now, if this point will need to experience high tide again, it will need to catch the moon. For that, extra time is needed. For that, only 52 minutes is required. It is technically done like this. 12 hours, 26 minutes, 12 hours, 26 minutes. So technically 26 minutes. You got the understanding? So ideally, one cycle you'll get 12 hours and 26 minutes rather than 12 hours. Fine. I'll write the statement right now. The 52 minutes extra time is taken as the moon is not constant or moon is not fixed but is revolving around the earth. Revolving around the earth. So he needs extra time. Few more minutes. I think you got your answer. Good question. Now we will understand the champion, or should I say runner-up. Next heading will be modification by the sun. Modification by the sun. Modification by the sun. See, look at the heading itself. We are talking about modification by the sun. Because there is this wrong perception that when it comes to tides, since the sun is a very large object compared to either moon or the earth, it will be the sun being the dominant factor. Please understand, this is where Newton's law of gravitation becomes tricky. Proportional to mass 1 and mass 2, but when he spoke about distance factor, Newton clearly understood that distance is actually a major player. That is why you get square root, not square root, square of your distance. So inversely proportional. So effects of distance get compounded. That's the beauty. Even though sun is a large celestial body, extremely larger, 98% of volume in the solar system is there in the sun only. In spite of that, moon is so small. Okay, but moon actually overcomes the sun. So what the sun can do is only modify the effects of moon. Moon is the dominant player. He's the winner. Is it clear? So, you have this film Body of Lies. In the film Body of Lies, there is a scene in climax. Okay, so what Leonardo DiCaprio would do is that he'll try to go to Jordan and then try to crack a case, of course. So there will be a member of Jordan's secret service, or let's say not a gangster technically, but someone who works with the government, or maybe a paid individual. Okay, he'll say. So Caprio is part of the CIA, and the person of the Jordan secret service or that individual will say, see, CIA might be the strongest organization in the world, but in Jordan, we are the leaders. Is it clear? So that's how it is. Sun might be the largest celestial body in the solar system, but here, it is the moon. So modification by the sun, there are two ways you can modify. To understand modification, we look at extreme positions. Sun, moon. When the moon, sun and the earth, when the moon revolves, several positions are possible. Several positions are possible. Moon can be anywhere. Okay. But we will study only 4 positions because these 4 positions have the maximum impact. What are those positions? I will tell you. 1, 2, why point 1 and 2? Because in position 1 and position 2, sun, moon and the earth, all of them will be in the straight line. So this is one extreme. Okay, 1 and 2. This is one type. Sun, moon, earth in straight line are in straight line. Under this condition, you will get a type of tides called as spring tides. Spring. Type 2. Positions 3 and 4. 3, 4. Pinkel line. This one. 3, 4. Moon is perpendicular. Perpendicular to Sun-Earth axis. Sun-Earth axis. Sun-Earth axis means the line connecting Sun and the Earth. Sun-Earth axis, line connecting Sun and the Earth. Perpendicular, 90 degree. Here the type of tide is called neap. Neap tides. Okay, spring tide and neap tide. Why are we studying only these 4 positions? These 4 positions are the extremes. Every other position you take, so 28 positions are there. I say 28 because 28 to 29 days it revolves. All the other positions you'll find situations in the middle, not extreme. So next slide will be spring tide. The one after that will be neap tide. Okay. Then we look at solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Then we can step on to coral reefs. Today my optional students complained that I'm making them draw too many diagrams. I know that you also have the same complaint, but today is the last session. Okay, so pardon me for that. Spring tides. See, we'll analyze the impact of moon, analyze the impact of sun, and then we'll combine both of them. Look at this. Point A, moon. Fine. So you take point A when moon, sun and the earth are in the same position. See, listen to this. At the start itself, later you shouldn't have that query. It doesn't matter whether moon is here or moon is here. You get it? If moon is located in this point also, you take this point A. A will experience high tide due to centrifugal force. If moon is in this location, okay, the extreme case, moon will experience high tide due to gravitational force. Doesn't matter whether moon is here or moon is here. So that's why both 1 and 2 will give the same impact. Remember that, okay? So you take point A, I'll place moon here. Point A will experience high tide. Simple. Take sun, take earth. Point A will experience high tide. Same principle. Only difference is here high tide is because of gravity. Here high tide is because of centrifugal. Got it? See, already moon has a potential to expand. What sun is doing is sun is helping the moon. He's like, brother, I will help you, brother. High tide only, no. I will also create. Is it clear? Once sun jumps the fray, you take your three celestial bodies, sun, earth, moon, point A, the efforts of moon and sun get added. So it gets even more bigger. Spring tide. Spring tide. Pay attention, then you can copy. This is an important point. Spring tide does not mean low tide wouldn't occur. Okay, only thing is during spring tide, the height or the level will increase. I'll tell you the meaning. See, normal condition. Pay attention, then this point you can copy because later you will get this doubt. Most people, after learning, they'll finish 1 year of class. They'll write one prelims, then they'll come and ask me. The spring tide, high tide won't come now. Who told you? Please understand. Normal condition. If your high tide is 1 meter, example, low tide is plus 1 meter, low tide is minus 1 meter, plus 1, minus 1, above, below. During spring tide condition, what will happen is, let's say sun is contributing or 0.5 meters. High tide will become plus 1.5, which means if you are extracting more, then low tide will become minus 1.5. So tidal range will increase. Doesn't mean tide won't actually. Low tide will become even lower, high tide becomes even higher. See, if you pull your cheeks, okay. Pull your cheeks even further, mouth begins to expand more. Same. More high tide, more low tide. Got it? Now take it down. Is it clear? So always remember, high tides and low tides work in tandem. Is it fine? Okay, video got stuck. Okay, I'll repeat this part again then. Maybe you might have had some difficulty. This segment alone I'll repeat. See, the efforts of moon and sun get added. I believe you followed at least until then. Moon can be either in position 1 or in position 2. The concept is regarding spring tide. The point which I'm trying to drive home is that spring tides does not mean that low tide wouldn't occur. See, when efforts of moon and sun get added, so if normal condition you experience plus 1 meter, hold on a second. See, hold on, maybe like we'll rejoin with reference to this camera. Okay, so if the video is off for 1 second or a few minutes or few seconds, please hold. We'll rejoin the account. Give us 1 minute.
You are in the Zoom meeting now. This meeting is being recorded.
Fine, and I'll repeat spring tides because you might have faced frequent interruptions. So we just finished that, no problem. So I'll repeat from the start. I don't want you to miss anything. So I'll start from here itself. Okay, spring tide is a condition where moon, earth, like moon is either in position 1 or 2, earth, moon and the sun are in straight line. That's point 1. Number 2. So we were considering what will happen to point A with reference to moon and the sun individually. So presence of moon towards A will create low tide. Presence of sun with reference to point A will create a high tide. Presence of sun with reference to point A will also create a high tide. The only difference being in the first case, to simply due to gravitational attraction. Here it is in the diametrically opposite side. So centrifugal force influence between sun and the earth. The point is, when you place all of them together, sun is helping the moon, is aiding it. Is it clear? That is when the efforts of sun and moon get added and you get a tide which is above normal, much higher. That is called a spring tide. Point to be noted, spring tide does not mean that low tides wouldn't occur. Spring tide will actually even create a lower tide. For that only are given numbers for reference point. If normally you get a +1 meter and -1 meter, during spring tide, let's say the sun is contributing plus 0.5 meters. Is it clear? Spring tide will become plus 1.5. Efforts of moon added by the sun. So you will get more extension. If there is even more extension, tide will become even lower in these 2 points. Is it not? That is why low tide is -1.5 meters. Is it okay? So if you add any interruptions, I hope you copied the diagram. Once you copied the diagram, you use the word finished. Okay, then I'll move. Because if it was frequently getting stuck, you would not have copied the diagram also. Right, 3 responses. Okay, now I'll move on. See, neap tide is just the opposite case. Is it fine? Now, they were brothers at the start itself. Now only they are going to behave like proper brothers. Proper brothers will fight only. They won't be friendly. We'll see fight. Okay. See, that is true. I think brothers will accept the argument. When it comes to siblings, having brothers is never ideal. Is it not? Take this position, position 3 and 4. I'll repeat position 3 and 4. I'll just show you the actual map. Or you not map, actual diagram. See, in position 3 and 4, point 3 or point 4, moon is perpendicular, this pink color line, to the sun-earth axis. Clear? So take this. Moon can either be on top or moon can either be at the bottom, like it's there or the other side. Fine. So now in position A, you will get a low tide. But sun is not going to change anything. He's like high tide only, created due to centrifugal force. Now pay attention. In a place where moon is trying to attract, sun is creating the opposite effect. It's that there is a chair right now. Okay, and if you're trying to pull the chair towards one side, okay, let's say I'm trying to pull the chair towards me. Sun is on the opposite side. He's trying to pull the chair in the other direction. So the efforts get subtracted. It gets more complicated. So final diagram. In this conflict between sun and the moon will eventually win. There is no doubt. But his win will be Pyrrhic. Okay. A will experience a low tide. You will find a tide towards the moon, but the height of the tide will be really less. A smaller one. Smaller when compared to normal. This is called as neap tide. So I'll give you the values for reference again. If normal condition, high tide and low tide, if it is plus and -1, during neap tide condition, it will simply become smaller. That is, high tide itself will be plus 0.5 only. Sun takes half. Low tide will be only -0.5, which means tidal range will decrease. That's all. Just the reverse. When moon is at position 2, the centrifugal force of sun would be stronger. When moon is at position 2, okay, centrifugal force of sun would be stronger, right? No, centrifugal force of sun will always be same. For spring tide, it doesn't change. It will be the same. It doesn't matter, actually. Because anyway, it doesn't change. See, if you take the changes with reference to the impact of sun, it's quite less because Earth is quite far away. Even if you take the elliptical orbit, perihelion, aphelion. This is fine. Moon is much closer. If you're comparing sun's position with 1 and 2, then may be true. Is it clear? Shall I move on? Last part? Fine. Okay. They don't cancel each other. No, they don't cancel each other. Moon is always powerful compared to the sun. They cannot cancel. Moon is much closer. Tide should be towards sun. I'm going to kill you, the person who sent that message. I told you at the start itself, moon is more powerful. I wrote the formula also. Please understand. See, I get clarified here. Moon is more powerful. because with increase in distance, the effect will become much more pronounced. Your strength will reduce rapidly. See, understand like this. When you introduce a square, the situation becomes much impactful. 1 square is 1. 1.1 square makes it 1.21. For just a 0.1 decimal change, you'll get an impact of factor of 21. 2 square makes it 4. 4 square makes it 16. That is the role of distance. It's inversely proportional. Sun is at a larger distance. I told no, isn't it? Sun is very, very large, but still it's very, very away from the earth. That is why moon will always win. Don't have that misconception. I finished 2 slides ago and only then came here. Why the doubt now? If you had a doubt, you should have asked back then. Last position. See, please note these four final positions: solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, full moon position, new moon position. They're not special. Okay. In all those conditions, you'll get spring tides only. Is it fine? They're just special cases or modifications of that same single line point. I'll draw the locations. Okay. Sun, moon, Earth and moon. This is your full moon position. Full moon. That is, the rays of the sun touch the moon. This is full moon. Full moon means moon should be full. Moon will be totally visible to you. Is it clear? You are here. From your position, if you see the moon should be visible. This is full moon. This is new moon position. That is, light from the sun will definitely illuminate the moon, but the side which is facing you will be darker this way. This is new moon. So both full moon and new moon position, you will get spring tides, right? Both full moon and new moon position, you will get spring tides. Right. 2041,625. Okay, fine. Now you'll ask me, sir, if this is the case, what is lunar eclipse and solar eclipse? See, please note, if you take this diagram itself, you should get the idea what is lunar and solar eclipse. But before I go, I tell you lunar and solar eclipse, I tell you why it doesn't happen frequently. See, the reason is moon is a small celestial body. That's number one. Reason number two, moon's axis is not perfect with the earth. Moon doesn't revolve around the earth in a perfect flat orbit actually. The orbital plane is not like this. Orbital plane itself is tilted. There is an axial tilt of 5 degrees. That is why you don't get solar eclipse and lunar eclipse frequently. They will talk about solar eclipse, lunar eclipse like in 10 years, in 15 years, or even 25 or 30 years time period. Is it not? Why? Solar eclipse is extremely rare because moon is a small object. I'll tell you this. Very rare chances, listen carefully, very rare chances during new moon position. All the sunlight, if the moon is perfectly aligned, very rare, perfectly aligned, all the sunlight which is going to reach the earth can be blocked by the moon, blocking. So earth will be in complete darkness, or you'll only get a shadowy picture for few minutes, not for hours and all, just for few minutes in certain locations. This is called as solar eclipse. Eclipse means the sun is getting blocked. So solar eclipse is a special case of new moon position. In very rare condition of new moon, you might get solar eclipse. Very, very rare. Sun getting blocked. Solar eclipse. Very rare condition. The entire light which is falling on the earth might cast earth's shadow over the moon. Very rare. Why? Because moon is too small now. Moon will escape somehow. Sun is way too large, so in one way or the other, sunlight will reach the moon. But in some cases, if earth is able to block that, the shadow of the earth falls over the moon. Lunar, moon is getting eclipsed. Moon is getting eclipsed. Lunar eclipse, right? So lunar eclipse is a special case of full moon position. Special case of full moon position. So new moon, full moon, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, all 4 cases you will get spring tides. Is it fine? Then you will ask me, when do we get deep tides? Well, you get neap tides here. People, this is possible, no? One side of the moon is illuminated. One side of the moon is illuminated. This is what you see in the night sky as crescent. Crescent moon, this one. Like one side, like half of the moon will be visible, you know. See, don't call it as half moon. There is nothing called as half moon. You call it as a quarter moon. Okay, so during quarter moon, you get neap tide. Quarter moon creates neap tides. That ends the discussion on tides. We'll finish with one photograph. Okay, use the word finish if you're ready. So both quarter moon, 3 and 4, you will get neap tides. It is called quarter, not half. There is no half moon. When can we see blood moon? I'm really not aware. I really do not know the exact time or the sequence, like the exact picture when you get blood moon. Okay. Maybe you can email me. I'll try to get back. Is it fine? Blood moon, fine. One response. Okay, those who enabled the video already responded. Others, one more. Fine then, one picture. Okay, just one. See, if you want to understand tides, you need to get the extreme case. The extreme case in the world is Bay of Fundy. Bay of Fundy is a place in Canada. It has the largest tidal range in the world. This picture is not photoshopped, it is true. It's in Bay of Fundy. If you look at it, you will think someone has meddled with the photo, but it's not. The tidal range here is 53 feet. Okay, this is high tide position. High tide position looks like a proper part of the sea. This is low tide position. If by any chance, okay, you parked your boat or you're planning to leave, you don't plan your time properly, you'll need to wait for next tide. At least wait for next 6 hours so that water begins to invade in again. See, tides are important because, see, I'm showing you an extreme case. You can ask me, sir, but this is not there in all parts of the world. See, even a tidal range of 5 feet, a tidal range of 10 feet will make an important difference for riverine harbors. For example, let's take Kolkata. Kolkata is not located very close to the sea. It's a riverine harbor. So for riverine harbor, between high tides and low tides, you want to make sure only when the water level changes from low tide to high tide, you will plan properly that you can invade in. And you need to make sure before the water starts receding back from high tide to low tide, you plan your return clear. If you don't do that, your ship will have to wait for extra 6 or extra 12 hours. There is no other option. So tide study is important only for navigation purposes associated with harbors. And this is one extreme example, but still even smaller ranges of 10 feet or 15 feet can determine when your boats can park near your harbor and they'll need to move away. So they plan it really well. It's an important study. So this is the application. Someone asked for navigation. So if you're talking about navigation in terms of moving in and moving out, you are right. This is the major reason tides need to be studied. Last topic, coral reef. Normandy Castle is also a good example. Oh, it looks like Disney logo castle. Haven't heard about the Normandy. Okay, thank you. Make note of that. Normandy. See, basics of coral reefs. You'll revisit coral reefs in environment. Like I will give you the foundational aspect. Coral reefs. They are calcareous skeletons of coral polyps. They house high biodiversity and are called rainforests of the oceans. Actually, rainforests should be called as coral reefs of the land. That is the right way to say, because they are much, much bigger, or having much more biodiversity. Just like we say, Kautilya is considered as the Machiavelli of India. Actually, Machiavelli should be said as Kautilya of France or Kautilya of Italy, just like that. Because Kautilya lived 1500 years before Machiavelli. Is it not? See, that's one problem with Europeans. Is it clear? You would have learned this in art and culture. Samudragupta, I think, called the Napoleon of India. Actually, they say Napoleon should be considered as Samudragupta of Europe because Samudragupta lived close to 1,200 years before Napoleon Bonaparte. Got the definition? See, if you want to appreciate coral reefs, first you need to start with one reality. A good number of individuals, even if they have learned well, think coral reef is a plant. See, first understand, you're talking about coral polyp. Install this point very deeply in your mind. Polyp is an animal. I'll repeat one more time. Coral polyp is an animal. See, to understand coral reef, you need to start from this basic structure. See, in animal kingdom, when you move to different, different classes and different kingdoms, or you move from protozoa to chordata, the animal the organ system becomes way too complex. You take coral polyp. Coral polyp belongs to a phylum called Coelenterata. It's a very simple animal. I give the structure. Okay, polyp animal is an animal which belongs to the phylum Coelenterata. Belongs to Coelenterata and has a simple structure. Full stop. You have drawn this in your 7th standard or 8th standard botany. Hydra, do you remember? Similar structure. Budding, asexual reproduction, all that. Zoology graduates would know. Don't tell me you've not drawn Hydra. Simplest answer. Zoology, that is the one. Asexual reproduction, Hydra, budding. Remember? One thing will fall down. Is it okay? I'll read the statement one more time. Then we will understand reef structure. This basic point you've understood. You'll understand why reefs are actually formed. It's for a necessity only. Okay. See, you take this structure. The structure has 3 problems. Okay. First of all, it has a very soft body. Soft body is not ideal to stand against strong water currents. If the water current is way too powerful, it will actually push the polyp or could break it away. See, the reason being, the polyp is proper. It has a cylindrical body fixed to a particular area. Strong water currents make the body quite, more exploitative. Number 2, this has a particular method of nutrition. You know what is the method of nutrition? You see these finger-like structures, isn't it? These finger-like structures are called, or the tentacle-like structures are called as nidoblast. Nidoblast. Okay. You ask me how does it feed? It will sit inside water. After sitting inside water, these are tentacles. They'll do this. Okay, that's the way they try to capture prey. Sit inside water and do this now, you think food will come. Food won't come. Very poor mode of nutrition. Number 3. So food problem or nutrition problem. Number 3rd problem. Can this fight against or 10 fish? Very small boy. Can't really fight against 10 fish. So not very ideal fighting against predators. So 3 problems are there. Body is too soft, unable to feed itself properly. Number 3, predators, it is not able to fight. Okay, whenever you have a problem, you need to find a solution. The solution is coral reef. Ready? Now we'll build coral reef first. People are criticizing me only because I have soft body. No. Now, I will absorb nutrients from the environment. After absorption, I will secrete calcium carbonate. Once you secrete calcium carbonate around your body, you will become strong. So slowly calcium secretion makes the body stronger. So first problem solved. Calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate secretion makes the body rigid. Strong. What is the second problem? Second problem was cannot fight against predators. People, you go to an area, you wantedly make some issue. 10 people will come to beat you. Go to your area. If you can't fight 10 people, what should you do? Collect 15 people from your area, send against 10 people. They will fight and win, you can relax. Same principle. If you cannot fight against predators, strength in numbers. Very simple. Invite your friends. Coral polyp. Coral polyp, 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 coral polyp. Invite your friends. Ask all of them to secrete calcium carbonate. Ready? Calcium carbonate, 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 calcium carbonate. Secreted. Now you have tentacles everywhere. Okay. This is the reef structure. Now only reef is forming. Basically, there is a reason why they form reef. Strength in numbers. See, if you are coral polyp, it is not advisable to stay single. You will die. Better join a colony. You will survive. Is it clear? Now we have a third problem. What is the third problem? Food. Sitting inside water, simply grabbing, no, nothing will come. Is it clear? Moving on. For food, take the help of one neighbor, not friend exactly, but you have a mutual relationship. Coral polyps have a symbiotic association with algae. Okay, there are large species of algae. The algae go by the name zooxanthellae. Zooxanthellae. You might be asking, sir, what is the purpose of algae? Algae are useless. Algae are very useful. Food is the problem. Algae have the capacity to photosynthesize. They can manufacture their own food. So what you do is, you have friendship with algae. Algae will provide food through photosynthesis. Correct? So algae is providing food to coral polyps. Now you can ask me, okay, algae is providing food to coral polyp. What is coral polyp giving in return? They can give something in return. The shells are made of calcium carbonate, and all algae will have problems in holding on. Since the shells are of calcium carbonate, the algae can come and stick on those shells here. So you provide them habitat, substratum, sticking on. Is it clear? So first thing is you provide habitat where the algae can settle over. They can stay in one place. And most important thing, apart from sticking over your shells, habitat, when animals breathe outside, will they give oxygen or carbon dioxide? I asked in one batch. One person said, when we breathe out, oxygen will come. Find that human being, I can make billions of dollars. See, when you breathe outside, carbon dioxide will come out. Carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis, is it not? So when coral polyps start breathing outside, you give carbon dioxide to algae. Algae will take carbon dioxide. You would give some more amount of sunlight. They have chloroplast. They will prepare food and give it to you. So that is the symbiotic relationship. This is how you get colorful coral reef. Stress on the word colorful. People understand. Calcium carbonate you might have had in your 10th standard chemistry practical exam. You ever seen calcium carbonate? White color powder. If you get calcium carbonate in 10th standard board exam, absolutely no need to worry. Throw the calcium carbonate away, start writing acid radical, base radical. Yeah, no need of test. I know it's calcium carbonate. Remember? Then automatically you think, how does calcium carbonate get its color? Calcium carbonate doesn't have any color. Coral reefs get their color only because of algae. You get the idea? Depending upon the species of algae, coral reefs can have any color as possible. People understand, if by any chance temperature becomes very higher, I'm talking about sea surface temperature. Sea surface temperature is very high. It will not be possible for coral polyps to allow algae to settle over their body, because algae will take their own habitat and it will be more exploitative. So what coral polyps will do is, they will expel the algae outside. Is it clear? So when temperature increases, symbiosis is not possible. Symbiosis is not possible. And algae get expelled. They are sending their friends out of the house. Algae get expelled. This is what is called as coral bleaching. Because it becomes white in color again. Bleached. Original color. Bleaching. You get it? So what used to be colorful, once algae leaves the system, it becomes white in color. Like insectivorous plants, it attracts. Okay, Shafran, okay. In case of Jhansi Rani and Velunachiyar, where does Jhansi Rani, Velunachiyar come here, man? I forgot the context. I don't know. What is the relationship between sunscreen and coral reefs dying? Okay, I want to work on that myself. Come on, hold on a second. I know the answer, I think. Okay. I'm just not able to recollect from my memory, properly not stored. I did work on this. I'm not able to recollect. It's a very simple reason only, not as complicated as you think. It's more to do with calcium carbonate dissolution, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, the calcium carbonate, that's the outermost segment. So your skeleton gets affected. That's the reason I'm not able to pinpoint why. One component in sunscreen. But yes, you can work on that. Possibly a potential question. It's current affairs only. Good. It is current affairs, yes. Okay, maybe I can, please send me an email in case you missed it. I'll definitely respond. Pretty sure it is to do with the skeleton of the coral reef system. See, now only two segments are there. We'll wrap it up. The two segments are these. First is what are the conditions in which coral reefs thrive. Second is types of coral reefs and based on structure, right? Conditions. Four major conditions. Number one, shallow water. Two, ideally warm surface waters, warm sea surface, 20-21 degrees Celsius, salinity range of 27 to 30 parts per thousand, not near river mouths. Not near river mouth. Three positive conditions, one negative condition. See, once you know the structure of coral reefs, you can pretty much answer this question. Is it clear? Oxy and avobenzene. Thank you for that. I'll work like I just couldn't relate to it. Sunscreens. I'm pretty sure I have the answer. Fine. Shallow water. Reason is simple. If coral reefs survive below 250 feet, below 300 feet, sunlight penetration is less. See, it's not that coral reefs need sunlight, it's the algae. Only if sunlight is present, they can perform photosynthesis. Is it clear? So why shallow waters? Because they need sunlight for photosynthesis. I'm giving the reason, that's all. Need sunlight. Can't be there in deep water. Simple. Deep water, less sunlight penetration. That's why if coral reefs, are at very deep depths or they move to deep depths, they will die. Second, ideally warm sea temperatures. See, cold water is detrimental. Example, I'll show you one location, which you already show you one location, not in map. This is one country called Australia. Map reading we saw. In map reading, you tried to cross a barrier in barrier reef. Remember, barrier reef will be here. Correct? This is Great Barrier Reef. See, if you picture carefully, western side of oceans, south equatorial current, eastern Australian current. Eastern Australian current is a warm current. Coral reefs will be here. Western part of Australia, you will get a cold current, western Australian current. This is cold. You'll not find coral reefs here. You'll find coral reefs here. This is an important condition. Any location of the world, cold ocean currents are there, coral reefs won't grow. Why exactly? See, please understand, cold ocean currents or cold water can corrode calcium carbonate because in cold water, there is more carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is very dangerous. I'll write the statement. Cold waters. Cold waters dissolve more carbon dioxide. Dissolve more carbon dioxide and hence they have more carbonic acid. Carbonic acid. Carbonic acid corrodes calcium carbonate. Corrodes. Slow death actually. See, picture acid being poured over your body and your skin and skeleton melting out. That is the actual condition. Corrodes calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. Dissolving the coral skeletons or polyp skeletons. Slowly they'll die. See, for plants and even for polyps, sedentary animals, death is very painful. See, this is the issue. You said warm temperature leads to breaching. See, please understand. Asiatic cheetah, CIN 2088964. Asiatic cheetah will become extinct, man. Say, keep some other name. Only 50 animals are there in the wild. See, understand. My body, see, human beings are not very comfortable in very low temperatures. For example, my body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Ideal. 37. Does it mean my heart can function in 47 degrees Celsius? 47 degrees Celsius, my heart will start melting. All my internal organs will stop. You get the idea? So, see, some of you might be thinking why this question came. The question is this. Sir, you said warm temperatures are not ideal. Warm temperatures not ideal. Na? 32 degrees, 33 degrees. Ocean waters become very warm. El Nino condition. That is not ideal for coral reef. See, for any organism, there is an ideal range of temperature. You exceed, even for human beings, we are not comfortable at 60 degrees Celsius. 60 degrees Celsius will become human 65. You understood? So once temperature increases, every organism will have a problem. So global warming will lead to coral bleaching. There is a reasonable range of temperature. Got the idea? Number 3, salinity of 27 to 30 ppt. Why? See, salt content means nutrients are available. So nutrients can be derived. That is the reason. Nutrients can be derived. You need calcium, no? Derived. So for calcium, you need a reasonable level of salinity. Okay, did you mean cold water dissolves carbon dioxide and produces carbonic acid? Yes, that's what I've written in the previous slide, no? Cold waters dissolve more carbon dioxide. That's what I've written. Why doubt there? See, it's from partial pressure of gases. It's true for all gases. You decrease temperature, there will be more dissolution. You increase pressure, you can dissolve more gases. It's true. That's a general rule. Last one, not near river mouths. Relate with condition 3, you'll get the answer. River mouths will pour in too much of fresh water. Fresh water will decrease salinity. Correct? So fresh water addition will decrease salinity. Last reason, see, rivers bring in too many sediments. Sediments will kill polyps. Sediments kill polyps. Because so many sand particles, so many silt particles will come. Is it clear? They will block the tentacles of the corals. Once you block the tentacles, it will slowly die. Is it clear? Bay of Bengal average temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. Then how coral reefs can develop in Andaman and Nicobar Islands? See, Paul, the point is this. Andaman and Nicobar Islands is not an isolated island. You look at latitudinal range of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, from 6 degrees north, they'll go as far as 20, not 20 is very high, 6 to possibly 14 or 15. So they have a range. And secondly, there are certain areas of Andaman and Nicobar Islands which are sheltered from the open sea. So it's not like you have a single point in ANI. It's a range of temperature. Range of temperature, and it's an island. There'll be certain parts of Andaman which is exposed to high temperature, certain at low temperature. Point is different, the range of islands is different. Is it okay? See, there is a derivation from point 4. I'll just relate it to you because I go to the last slide. Next slide, we'll finish the class. When we say not rear mouths, this is why you go to eastern states of India, Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh. These 3 states, you will not find coral reefs at all. Because all of them have too much of rivers. Ganga, Brahmaputra, Brahmani, Baitarni, Subarnarekha, Mahanadi, Krishna, Godavari. Until Kaveri also no coral reefs. In Tamil Nadu, how do you get coral reefs? Means you will find it only near the Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve. Why? Because in parts of Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve, it will be protected from any other area. So this land area is protected. It's like located around areas of Sri Lanka. So here you don't find any freshwater rivers also. So salt content will be different in this zone, and you don't have intrusion of freshwater in rivers. So that is why it is kind of safe. So coral reefs in Tamil Nadu is more by chance and exception. Apart from this, the 3 states doesn't have. You go to western states of India, starting from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa. Goa is a small state. Even there you find coral reefs. Karnataka, you go to Kerala, coral reefs will be present. Reason is, rivers will be small rivers. So too much of freshwater dumping won't be there. So western and eastern state, you can simply compare and learn. Is it okay? That's reason number 4. Based on reason 4, you can understand coral reef distribution in India. Last is Classification of coral reefs based on structure. This was given by Charles Darwin. We retain the definition even today. Coral reef structural differences. Fringing, barrier, atoll. 3 types are there. This is land area actually. This is my water level. Water level. This is my reef. Draw the diagram. I'll give the explanation at the end. This takes 2 minutes. The darkening blue color structure which I'm drawing is coral reef. Okay, looking at front view or side view here. This is top view. See, and this thing, okay, ideal temperature of 20 to 21 doesn't mean it's only there in 20 to 21. 20 to 21 degrees Celsius is ideal temperature. The range will be more higher. Okay, so 27, quite comfortable. Exceeds 30, 32, that is very damaging. Is it fine? Different textbooks will give you different numbers. The general understanding should be high temperatures, that is high sea surface temperatures or abnormal events like El Nino is damaging to coral reefs, causing coral bleaching. People, this structure alone is not given in NCERT. For this, you refer Go Cheng Leong. There will be a small chapter, not in your second part. There will be a chapter number 11 or chapter number 12. I don't remember exactly. Chapter 11 or 12. The heading will be Islands and Coral Reefs. That is the heading of the chapter in GCL. 3 pages or 4 pages. You go through that alone. Is it clear? I'll explain for supplementary information. Oh, chapter 11, thank you. Chapter 11 then, Islands and Coral Reefs. On fire. See, last segment. See, even though several theories have been given for coral reefs, we retain Darwin's theory because Darwin's theory is more relevant with submergence of several islands. Listen carefully. Darwin says at the start, when you have coral reefs, you get fringing reef structure. Fringe means corner or the edge. So this green color line indicates your sea level and this is the coastal area. So we've already seen coral reefs require shallow water bodies for sunlight. So maybe up to a feet of 150 or 200, your coral reefs start to grow upward. So they are growing upward and they are attached to the coastal area, very close to the beach. Fine. Now, let's say you provide more time. That is, when we say provide more time, consistency in all the 4 factors. No development of large-scale rivers, no disturbance by too much of human activity, good amount of, ideal amount of salinity, the coral reefs will begin to evolve. Now, when they begin to evolve, you create extensive chain-like structures called barrier. You take Australia, this is the largest barrier reef which we understand. One point with barrier reef alone, barrier reef or barrier reefs in general are not very close to the coast. If you look at the diagram, I would have given good amount of space, at least for tens of meters, in some cases even 100 meters. See, the idea is when reefs start to multiply, the reefs are present everywhere. There is no doubt at all. But point is, coral reefs which are present in the center will die eventually. Now, why exactly is that? Because when you are closer to land, there is constancy in deposition of sediments. Even if rivers don't pummel in sediments in fresh water, there will be constant wind movement. Is it not? So due to constant wind movement, if sediments get deposited, coral reefs very close to the coast will die. So they decide themselves, rather than going close to the coast and multiplying, destroying themselves, they try to shift their position slightly away from the coast. Extensive structures will form barriers. In rare chances, this is very, very rare, but it does happen. It happens over small islands. If the extension is complete, they'll be in a position to surround the entire island, the entire chain and network. Okay, so for smaller islands, the reef will go surrounding it. That is what is called as atoll. You find atolls in India in Lakshadweep, very well developed. A good number of islands in Lakshadweep are coral islands. Fine. One more example you want close by, Maldives. Fine. You find them in Caribbean also. Maldives. Maldives is an example of coral island. Best examples in India, Lakshadweep. Okay. So that ends the discussion for your structure of coral reef. Let me go to the syllabus. Please revise this chapter, chapter 11. Okay, for inputs on data here, chapter 11. Just hold on. I'll finish with this. Then someone asked, no, regarding prelims preparation. I'll tell you that also. See, those who are interested in listening to that can listen. Others can leave. I have no problem. But this thing you wait. Hold on. Wait. I need to show you something important. Look at this. Salient features of world geography. World's physical geography. This is your geomorphology, climate and oceans. Important geophysical phenomena such as earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic activity, cyclones, geographical features and their location. Done. Distribution of key natural resources across the world. Factors responsible location of primary, secondary and tertiary industries in different parts of the world. People understand significant part. Changes in critical geographical features, including water bodies and life gas, flora and fauna, such changes. For this only the material is getting ready. Okay, this segment, for example, impact of climate change on desert climate. Might have spoken in class in 1 or 2 lines. Like properly 4 lines or 5 lines, as for several chapters would not have written. Impact of climate change on glaciers. Impact of climate change on permafrost. Not discussed in class. Further material will be provided. We are trying to compile one. It is under process. This will ideally provide in March last week. See, this is for mains rather than prelims. One more thing. You take your factors responsible for location of industries. Not all industries, but at least for certain industries in terms of resources, you will find data. Even though map reading is enough, map reading notes are there, but for Indian geography, you'll definitely get. So roughly, you can expect 50 pages, maybe 60 pages. So please don't read the book which was given to you as part of, if they are given by any chance. General studies, they might have given a geography book, isn't it? That is not required because it is not updated. Like based on the last 3 years mains and 4 years mains, this material is getting complied. So this will be very useful for mains. Please don't ignore it. Like it's as latest as possible, you're updating the data. So we'll send it to you by March end or possibly start of April. Okay, so this will be important. Please don't neglect it. Don't ever throw your map reading notes away. That is for this segment. All right. Now, see, since this is weekend batch, if it was a PCM batch, then I would definitely go for a different approach. Since it is weekend batch, a good number of candidates might either be studying or working. So first I'll give that, okay, like how you can plan. Then I will tell you common mistakes which you can avoid during your preparation or what things to be done. Only 4 to 5 points majorly. See, if you're working, my suggestion would be preparing for 18 months. I do not know what advice you got from mentors, but I'll tell you based on my personal experience itself. See, you are working and let's say you're working even for 8 hours a day, even for 6 hours a day. Okay, some might be doing 10, 12 hours in a single day. You finish the job, you come home, I'm pretty sure you can read only newspaper. Even this will be challenging for you. You read newspaper for 1 hour, maximum you can do is try to do 15 to 20 minutes of notes. Beyond this, you can't do. Is it true? If you're doing beyond this, I will fall on your feet really. Is it clear? I can't do beyond this. Is it clear? So you're doing newspapers. See, please note, next 6 months, I advise not to do June 27th immediately. Maybe you want to do it for practice. Sir, I have already 9 attempts. Even if I start writing from now, I can only finish 6 attempts, then you write prelims. Okay, no problem. For practice, you can write. Need not look at the immediate attempt as serious, provided you have started preparing only from the month of July or August, because the time window will be too short. So, newspaper reading, never ever skip any day. Keep it consistent. Now, until the course is over, possibly till the month of April, May, what you can do right now is revise class notes as much as possible. There will be reservations when you try to read your books. Time doesn't permit. See, Saturday, Sunday, you're already sitting for 10 hours of class. Some might be learning optional also. Optional extra, you'll sit for 8 hours. 18 hours class, Saturday and Sunday sitting, where will you learn? Time won't be there. But class notes you can revise. This is possible. Reason I tell you class notes is, once the class is over, try to wrap up. Monday and Tuesday, fine. Monday when you go to office, it will be hectic. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, try to finish, revise class notes by Thursday, because after 4 days, you will not exactly remember what was taught in class. Okay. So priority number 1 is newspaper. Priority number 2 is class notes. 3 will be reading NCERT and books. If you're not able to finish it within the next 3 or 4 months, it is fine. Please be patient. You don't have time. Alright. Let's say you've finished this. Now, next, let's say you're finishing by May or June. Starting from June till next December. Okay, plan properly. This time you don't give any excuses, because newspaper reading you would have polished by some time. Class notes you become very thorough. Then start reading every book. This is where you sharpen your skill for mains answer writing. No ifs and buts. Join a mains test series. Keep writing tests consistently. Sharpen your mains answer writing skills. Reach a situation where someone looks at your answer, says, you need no more preparation. Your mains answer writing is pakka. So I'll tell you this. Consistently write for 2 to 3 months, you'll reach that level. Then for practice, you can write a mock test. Mains preparation, including options, should be completely over. With that strength, then you prepare for prelims. Absolutely no doubt you'll have any doubt to clear at all. Now this is an extended time plan. You don't put pressure on yourself unnecessarily. See, putting pressure is fine. You will develop when there is pressure on you. That is true. But unnecessary pressure will only make you depressed. Okay, I invested too much of money. Rather than this, if I put in mutual fund, at least I would have got some interest. Those feelings shouldn't come inside your mind. Because see, this is your money. If it was BCM batch, mostly it might be paid by parents. Your money, you make the most out of it. You have a greater ambition. Take more time. Okay, it's absolutely no problem that if you're starting late, because you are under a financial pressure. That's why you're working. So take time. I'll repeat one more time. Check your newspapers and class notes regularly for the next 4 months. Once it is over, then read your textbooks, join a mains test series, sharpen your skills. Mains answer writing should be complete by this year, December. Both your GS and optional, no excuses given. Then from next January, you join a prelims test series, study for 4 to 5 months, attend proper tests, you are properly prepared. It's 18 plus months, you can definitely clear, no problem at all. This will be an extended plan which is feasible. Now, if you're writing, some might have prepared, sir, I've already prepared for 1.5 years. I'm joining class only for brushing my skills, for you. Prelims, like you're seriously attending June 27 prelims. Sir, I'm studying full time for you. There are a few things you need to remember. Don'ts actually, mostly don'ts or some do's. Thing is, when you prepare, learn tougher subjects first. This is the main first point. Treat all subjects equally. 7 subjects are there. History, economics, polity, environment, science and technology, geography, and finally your current affairs. What most people do is learning too much importance to current affairs. No. 7 subjects, meaning 7 subjects equally. If, for example, 7 weeks of preparation is there, 1 week you learn 1 subject. That's the meaning. So, I like economics too much. You like economics too much, keep it to yourself. Ask 20 questions from environment, where will you go and score marks? Learn all subjects equally. There is no assurance. 1 year they might ask 25 polity questions. Next year they'll ask 2 polity questions. Can you put case in High Court? I studied polity too much. Question didn't come. It won't come. Learn everything equally. Don't complain. Number 2. Ipo February month. Feb, March, April, May, June. June month, no new learning. Nothing new. Whatever you want to learn, you finish by March 31st itself. June 15th, sir, the new concept, sir. I have a feeling in subconscious mind that this question will come. May 31, until how much you learned, you won't prepare. June, don't touch anything new. Number 3. When you prepare, put your toughest subjects at the first. That is February month, March month, maybe half of April. Toughest subjects. Strongest subject is there now. Strongest subject put from reverse. Start from May, remaining portion of April. I'll give you one example, one simple example, how to arrange. Assuming 7 subjects are there, you can say 2 is strong. For example, you take myself, geography, environment, strong, medium strong. Okay, kind of thing. I'll manage these 2 subjects. This history, polity. These 2 are nightmares for me. Is it clear? Middle remaining 4 subjects will be there. Current affairs, I'll read newspaper every day. Then which is remaining? Economics, okay, this I can manage. Science and technology I can definitely manage, no issues. So when you plan, there are two ways you can plan. I leave it to you. Two methods are there. Some would like to learn one subject consistently for 2 to 3 weeks. If you like one subject 2 to 3 weeks, no problem. See, totally roughly you have 130 plus days, I think. Around 130 plus or around 140. Okay. So how many subjects? 7 subjects now. Roughly one subject 17 to 18 days. 17 to 18 days. One subject 15 days only. Why 15 days? When you plan, please remember this is a golden thumb rule. Always have a buffer. People, even if you're preparing next year, this is the same rule, nothing new. Why buffer? Because one day your boss will irritate you, one day your mother will irritate you, one day your relationship person will irritate you. Can't learn that day. Is it clear? That is why when you plan, keep buffer. If you can learn something in 4 days, don't plan for 4 days. Same plan, put for 5.5 or 6 days. Okay. So if this is the subject order, so maybe history and polity, like this is my plan actually. History and polity, try to finish it by March mid. Geography and environments will be towards the month of May. These 3 subjects are about to be fillers in the middle, science and economics. So Feb, March mid, maybe extending towards April, maybe 1 week of April, mostly May. This order will change for everyone. You prepare like that, then there is no problem. See, 15 days na, two subjects per month. 2 subjects per month, 2 subjects per month. Like I'm treating current affairs as something which is integral with science and technology and with environment. So there will be good amount of overlap. So you'll be in a position to split according to that. Prepare like this. Finally, the most important point. When you plan something, 100% of the time, plan will never work. Okay, it won't work. So don't get stressed. If you tried, sir, 4 chapters I should learn, sir. Coaching Leon, I've learned only 3 chapters. Okay. This is not truth. Sir, 4 chapters, sir. Within 4 hours, you're cheating yourself. Okay. Prepare like this. Beyond this, there is no golden thumb rule and all. This is the sensible, practical, workable plan. There's learning for 18 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours. People who say that and use are simply blatantly lying. If they are doing that, they will get brain problems, kidney problems, heart problem. Effectively learn. If you're learning full time, not for people who are working, effectively you're trying to learn. Effectively, a human being can learn only 8 to 10 hours. Beyond this, you can't. Your last point I missed. This is one habit, new trend. The test. Sir, I am planning to write over 77 tests. Right. You will not clear. People understand it's not about writing too many tests. Okay, please don't understand. It's not about writing too many tests. You can write 17 tests. Most important point is you're writing a test. Analysis is very important. Post the test. Where did I go wrong? Is the error factual? Did I make error in concept? Was it a careless mistake? That you need to sit with the question paper and work. Writing the test will be 2 hours. Actually, analysis will take 3.5 to 4 hours. See, the objective of writing prelims test series is, see, why people are writing prelims test series? Only for one reason. One more thing I will tell you, 100%. Questions which come in prelims test series will not come for exam. You can write anywhere in India. It won't come. Then why are you writing prelims test series? Only to know where you do mistakes. UPSC has everything. They will take question papers from all those things. They'll have 25,000 questions, 30,000 questions. They look at all the topics. All the topics, okay, these many topics are there. Leaving that, what else is there in news you take, they will take questions. 100% sure. So, the objective is analysis. For example, you have not understood inflation properly. Example. In inflation, there is a conceptual error. Next time, never ever make a mistake on inflation. You can make mistake in fiscal policy. They've asked one question on fiscal policy. Maybe they've asked one question on monetary policy committee. Make error. No problem. Don't you dare make a mistake on inflation again. That should be the idea. Reduce number of mistakes. Make mistake in coral reef. Okay. Second time, don't make mistake in coral reef. You reduce the number of mistakes for 20 tests. 77 tests la vanda, 20 tests. Mark will increase proportionally. It is not about increasing number of correct answers. It is about reducing number of wrong answers. இதுக்கு மேல no philosophy in prelims. That's all. Okay. So anything else is there, you go for hand raise. My only problem is this year we're never able to meet students, not able to build rapport, don't know any of you personally, nothing. So I don't know, like that's the curse of COVID-19 maybe. So if we get a chance, maybe we'll meet in person. Maybe I'll meet you with reference to maybe one pre-storming test discussion I might be coming. Okay, take care. Like as far as from my side, I tried my level best because video conferencing classes have their own limitations and there is only a limit up to which we can try. I've delivered the best up to my potential and I always want to speak about that person before I close. See, Shankar sir is the most important person in my life. Okay, so whatever I've taught you, starting from map reading class, okay, all those things, it only comes from him. So as his disciple, I can only do this, transfer the knowledge properly. I just want to know that to the best of my potential, I've done that. Okay, so take care and thank you. In case any queries are there, go for hand raise option, ask him to enable. Okay, bye. Thanks.
Good evening, sir. Sorry.
Hello, yes, ma'am.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding whether videos will be useful for learning geography. So suppose we are in short of time or we are not clear with any concept. So any specific channel for that, sir?
There is no specific one actually. Like every batch I get that request. There is no, for example, like all the materials which are found all the topics which are relevant to syllabus, there is no one YouTube channel that provides. I recommend you search in YouTube and whichever channel is comfortable. See, every video, any channel, it explains better, it's fine. Anything is okay. I don't know any particular one, actually. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
That's all.
Hello.
Hello, yes?
Good evening, sir.
Hello, yeah. Yes. Sir.
So I have one doubt out here. So that since I'm working right now and during this pre-storming test, I don't see there's much time for me to sit and prepare for this pre-storming test which have been starting. So what is your suggestion right now?
Sir, like what is your plan? You want to seriously take on this attempt or you're waiting? What's your idea?
That's what. So I'm not planning to take it in this June. So I'm planning to take it next year, sir.
Nishan, hold on. How many attempts do you have and what is your age?
Mine is 26.
26.
Yeah, so 9.
Then give this attempt, no problem.
Okay.
Oh, my mathematics is weak. 26 plus 9 is equal to, yeah, exactly at 35 you'll be getting, no? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so then...
not that test. So in this, in Shankar IAS, we'll be having this tests every week.
Yeah.
So so in that point of view, I'm not able to manage time and...
See, in that case, you reserve it, Nishan. See, you just confirm one thing. That is, how many days will it be available in the portal even after the course is complete? Course should get completed one day. Correct? It should.
Yeah.
So let's say you really want to feel that you want to take a serious test, just consult with the, I don't know, mentor will be there, academic coordinator will be there. How long the portal will be open or how long the tests will be open? Can I take it in July? Can I take it in August? You confirm with them. Then maybe you can have an extended plan if you're not serious with this attempt. So learn and then write, no problem.
Okay, yeah. Since now I don't find time, even we have classes in the week.
See, that's the advantage of this. That's one advantage of online thing actually. Like you can write anytime you want, isn't it? Just confirm June, July, August, will it be open? Nothing you confirm.
Okay, sir. Sure. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I have a question regarding the optional. Should we give more importance to the optional and then the general studies?
I'm simple. 5 papers GS, 2 paper optional. Importance should be 5:2. That's all.
Okay. Okay, so should we learn optional first or towards the end or something like that?
When
Do you
you
have any suggestion?
prepare your general studies mains, prepare for optional, because it's something which is clubbed together. When you learn for prelims, you don't want your optional interference usually. Okay, but I don't know your plan, but this is advisable. Okay, because you'll be learning writing for mains, writing for optional, you can immediately implement. So the pattern will be same.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Hello, yes.
Sir, my doubt is regarding current affairs, sir. So, is Hindu newspaper is enough for current affairs, or should we go for any other options, sir?
Amish, the idea is this: you should read the newspaper for sure. I'll give you two options. The reading, there is no compromise. Like if you feel, sir, I can read only for only 60 minutes, or let's say time is constrained, maybe read only editorial, but reading never compromise at all. After reading two options, either you make your own notes, note making. But again, if you're working, this will be challenging. In that case, you can rely on compilation. But remember this, compilation only one advice. Rely on one specific compilation. Anything is fine. Like anything is fine. But rely only on one. Don't take that 3 institution material, 4 institution material, then try to do one compilation. But remember this, this will serve only as revision. This will never be primary material, only for this. Some candidates have this habit of, some candidates have the habit of learning this as the primary material, not following newspaper. If they don't follow newspaper, even if they can clear prelims with compilation, writing practice won't be there with mains. So read, but maybe you can use this as revision, not primary. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. And regarding this, because I have only one chance left for my this UPSC, sir.
Okay.
I am giving in 2022. I am planning to give it. So, sir, this my how to say, sir, timing. How can I manage? Yeah, I am working, sir.
Okay, so you're working. This is the last attempt. This is the last. June 27 is last. Oh.
June 22 is the last, sir.
Okay.
22 next year. This year I am not giving it, sir.
Okay, this year you're not planning to give. Next year you're planning to give. Okay. So, what is your time plan? Like, do you work weekdays? How many hours? Weekend? How is it?
Sir, my working is quite different, sir. I can have to work in weekends also, sir. I can have to work in night also, sir. It's very fluctuating, sir.
Okay, so like number of hours per week, like you normally hours per week.
In this online class schedule, I don't have much time, sir, because it is only.
Let's say that your classes get over. Your classes get over. In that case.
After that, I can manage around 20-25 hours in a week, sir. Honest hours.
Ramesh, then that is enough, Ramesh. Because in that case, I ask you to stick to this first discussion we had. This one, no? Where currently you follow newspapers and then class notes. You wait for classes to get over. Then you will get 1 year ample time. Let's say it's going to get close till May. Then for next 6 months, you prepare your mains and optional. Okay, GS mains and optional. Sharpen your skills, answer writing. Then you hit it as a short. Then this will work for you. 20-25 years is good enough. Slowly you can potentially increase because you're constructively building. No, it should be fine.
Yeah, and sir, one more thing is regarding these material booklets and all, sir, because I want to follow only some particular booklets or particular books only. So is the Sankar IAS material will be enough, sir, for me apart from NCERT and some basic books?
Yeah, Ramesh, thing is, every faculty would tell you what is required. For example, geography, I mentioned NCERT, the specific chapters, Go Cheng Liang specific chapters with the compilation for mains I need to provide. So listen to what each faculty says and just follow that material alone. The reason is, reading several books or several material doesn't really proportionally increase marks. I've experienced it myself and even with other candidates. So sticking to the basics will be enough. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
So I have the same problem again that I've been left with only few attempts. I'm a 90 born and I have very few attempts that I very well know. to
0.55.
not stop in the race, but what is my other things that I can still continue if I'm taking a break for an year or something like that with UPSC? I should not want to stop this race out of it. What are the other options that that I can take or I can actually look into?
You're talking about alternate careers in this case, or
Yeah,
okay, ma'am, what domain are you in? Just to know, like the field, like finance, insurance, or anything like that, or
I'm in IT automobile working with Ford Motor Company.
no? I just wanted to know the profile, just to know how hectic it is, and of course, if it's an MNC, it is going to get.
Yeah, exactly, sir. It would take around 12 hours for me to sign off, and it was like a global project which I'm working in. So for sure, more than 10 hours per day.
I think it's a decision which is best left to you because uh, I will not be in a position to judge the financial necessity or see if you're there in the core field. I mean, if you're there with reference to an MNC, there will be reservations when you quit a job. And one advice which I usually tell people and people tell me is this: never quit your job because see when you say you're 90 born, there are chances that once you get outside the market and then get into the market again, there will be difficulties and then I'm talking about the same position in which you can join. There will be problems, isn't it? You have a break, you're kind of outside the market and then you go inside the market, right?
Yeah, I'll be taking a 1 year break. That might lead to troubles in my promotion or hurdles in the next
Exactly.
level of project or
Exactly.
something like that.
So the thing
Yeah,
is, it's really about long term. My advice is sticking on to it and finding 30 minutes or 40 minutes. See, my advice would be to ask the company, like within the company, you can ask for a reduced role, or for at least few months, you can ask them for, I think you should discuss with your boss and then come to a proper idea because never ever leave the job considering the financial situation of the world right now. You never know whether you'll get one more anytime. So that's something I tell any working professional. Never quit. You can negotiate within inside. You can say them, I'll work maybe if there is, you give me 14 hours per day. Certain days you just leave me out so that I can prepare. I think you can definitely work with the company. How many years are you with the same company?
for a decade, 10 years.
And come on, you should be in a position to negotiate. You can. You ask them for a reduced role, at least for a few hours. Maybe you get an assistant. Maybe you can voluntarily say, this segment of the salary or this benefit I don't want. Just allow the, see, they pay you only for the time. So you sell, you give back
Exactly.
that money, and ask for few hours every day or some negotiation. Maybe few hours per week will do. Never quit the job. That's my request actually. Never ever do if you're working. We never know whether you'll get it one more time. Even if UPSC is the most coveted profession, it could be your ambition, but never leave your nest. It's something you've built for quite some time. So that would be my recommendation. Is it fine?
Sure. Yeah. Yes, sir. And along with UPSC, can I go with the state level exams like TNPC? Not now, like after
Okay.
an year or so.
TNPC
With this
wouldn't
preparation or okay.
TNPC wouldn't work. The reason being, when you go for Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission or any public service commission for that matter, there will be more tilt of questions from that state. So from Tamil Nadu, you will be having selective questions. So again, you will need to put in extra 3 months effort. Effort will be less. 3 months only you need to compare, or 4 months compared to UPSC. But that's again one more effort which you need to invest in. So that's the catch there. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it fine? Anything else?
Sir,
I'm done with my general.
Two people
sir,
are
this
there.
is Mahesh.
Okay, hold on a second. Fine. Could you finish? Hello? Who's there right now? I
Sir,
know
I'm
that.
here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Are
Go
you
ahead.
having any overlaps?
No, no more
Okay.
overlap. Tell me.
So with the general question, you have told us that the material will be reaching us in a month or so. Would that material will be having all these things like the desertification, global
Yes,
warming,
yes, yes.
industrial corridors, and interlinking
Exactly.
of rivers?
The concepts of desertification and global warming will get even more depth when you learn environment. So the input from there also you can use it in geography. Okay, and impacts of climate change, of course, will definitely be there in the compilation.
Okay, sir, and one thing about this water stress, did we talk about that? or
No,
how
we
the
haven't.
tropical
No, we haven't talked about it. It's mostly reserved for environment since it is climate change oriented. That is the reason I haven't dealt with. Okay.
Okay. And one thing, I was just going through the previous year question papers, and one of the question paper which I've read through is having a, can I read that question? It is
Yeah, sure,
something
sure, sure.
like you are you are stationed in a small district town in the plains of North India. The
Hmm.
summer has been severe. Suddenly, a colleague who had been out since morning returns to the office complaining of headache, restlessness, and confusion. Shortly, he becomes unconscious. His body temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. What first aid steps would you take to revive him? Would this
Okay.
relate to geography or environment, or how should I take this? Or would these questions be
What are the options?
asked?
What are the options? I don't know. I need to see. Thing is, most of the questions you read it, I'll never know the answer. You give the options, I can work with the options. What are the options?
No options. It's in a mains question paper.
Mains question paper. Which one?
Which year you want? It's
Yeah, yeah,
2012.
yeah. 2012. See, that's it. 12 is an old method. And I don't think it's a 10 marker or 15 marker. See, when you look for mains question paper, start looking from 2015. The format has changed. Okay, that's why when I was thinking, come on, didn't occur in the last 7 or 6 years. I was thinking, it's quite old. You don't find these formats nowadays, so no worries. Start from 15, it should be fine. Hmm?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you so
sure.
much.
No
And
problem.
thanks for the wonderful sessions.
Thank
Um,
you. Thanks for the
it
feedback.
we really went back to school. I don't know how others felt. It was like really going back to school, and you have remembered me, all my geography ma'ams and sirs. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
it does
And
mean a lot.
thank you for all this. All these mnemonics and everything. Still, I can't forget the fluorescent rabbit the first day when you said. It was
Okay.
really helpful whenever we go through these notes. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. It's really helpful. Thanks for the feedback. Thank you.
And in order to meet you in Shankar IAS Academy, we should come to Anna Nagar, isn't it, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Like I'm right now in Ananagar. Yes, like every day, pretty much
So,
every day class. Usually on Saturdays, Sundays, I'm available here because I have optional in the morning. Hmm?
what is the best time to meet you? And before coming, I'll really take the appointment. But what is the best time to meet you in this
It
situation, sir?
depends. Like I have classes for most of the weekdays and weekends, because there are both weekday batches and weekend batches. In case you want to confirm, you can just email me 2 days or 3 days before. Based on the timetable, I can give a slot. Some days I have classes in the morning, some days classes in the evening. So maybe you can email me 2 or 3 days earlier, so I can tell you which time I'll be available in the institution. So you can meet me here in the faculty room, second floor. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
Sure.
once again, sir.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Sir, this is Maheshwar. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mahesh, go ahead.
So, sir, this is if I'm going to appear this examination on 2021, this will be my first attempt because I'm going to complete my college by 2021. That is within 2 months.
No problem.
So,
You have the world in front of you.
yes, sir. And the other reason is I got placed in my college also. I got a job in my college also. So, at that will start, I think, from October or September, like that. They have
Okay.
not sent my offer letter, but they. So, what is my concern is they said in my home that you either do postgraduate or get a job. I said I'm not interested in doing a postgraduate or a MBA or MS like that. And they said I said that I need a break for 1 or 2 years to do my UPSC preparation. They said, how will you do without doing any work or any other educational related activities? So I said, okay, fine. I got into a placement and I got placed. But I feel some kind of hesitation that if I join in a job, then it will be a IT level job in the sense I'll be focused more on it. So how to tell to
Yeah.
my parents that
Hold on a second. This is your best year. If you're, are you in any other commitments right now? You're full time learning the college. How is the college time right now? Like,
so college, I think this semester is totally project semester. So there's nothing
so
to the
how
eight
many hours
semester
you're working
project.
for? How many hours you're working for a project in 1 week?
1 week is maybe 2 or 3 hours. The rest of the time I
Well,
read
this
only
is your
this.
best attempt. Hold on a second. This is your best attempt because mains exam is on September 22nd and 27th this year.
Yes, sir.
So by the time you join your job, you'll complete your mains. No one is going to disturb you. Nothing is going to come in your way. This is your best time. You got 130 days, follow the classes, revise your notes, read your textbook, get it in first attempt. That's all. That's my advice. Don't think about anything else. There's no need to convince your parents. If still the prelims doesn't, we'll talk about this.
Okay,
You're
sir.
in your prime time. You can't get a better time than this, actually. This is good. You have
Yes,
a
sir.
job in the month of October. There's nothing to worry. Give just fire on all guns. Take this attempt. Mains will be over by
Okay, sir.
worries.
I said to my parents that anyway I have to work, or if you want me to do postgraduate, in the sense again I'll be studying. You just give me 1 or 2 years of a time, and I will show it in UPSC. But they did not accept that argument. They said do either postgraduate or get a job. So I got a job.
Always like that. They never accept what we say. So you got a job in hand, isn't it? So it's fine, man. October only, no problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fine, sure.
Hello, sir.
Hello, yes, ma'am.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Yes.
Sir, I'm just an undergraduate. I know I have a lot of time and many more attempts, and I'm planning to make it a first attempt only in 2023. Actually, I'm in second year actually. I'm only in my second year, and
Okay, madam.
I wanted to. What I came to ask is that I'm in weekend batch right now, and my college schedules are very hectic. I mean, I'm in PSG College of Arts and Science, and weekly I have a lot of time preparing for colleges, and I did not take up any test actually. I'm just attending the classes and taking notes. And what would you recommend me to go as a routine? I have to do something.
Never forget your newspaper and class notes. You just focus on these two things alone. You might be thinking I'm repeating the same advice, but you are in a prime time where you don't want to waste your classes. I'll tell you what might happen. See, you are in second year right now, right?
Yeah.
See, there are chances that if you do not revise when you are into third year of college, you might actually find that what was taught in the course has completely vanished. Because you won't have the drive to the exam is not staring at you, isn't it? You have 2 more years from now. Exactly. So if you don't revise the notes, there are chances that you might, the drive will slowly die down. So you don't want the drive to go. And if you don't want the drive to go, never compromise class notes. If you finish that, then you can slowly take up your preparation with reference to books. Properly planned. For example, history you can learn for 2 months, join a test. See, this time, when you apply for a test series next year, June or July, take a mains test series which has a 1-year program. 1-year program meaning some mains test series will start in July 2021. It will go until June 2022. Take programs like that, a 20 test program or 22 test program. Learn slowly, okay, and go for test series which allow you to write in your own time. Flexible test series. Okay, learn slowly. So take your time and then prepare consistently so that your studies also shouldn't get affected. College, there'll be cultural events, there'll be management events. You need to participate in that too. Cannot leave extracurriculars and invest too much time. So ideally spend 2 hours a day. That will be enough. 2 hours. But 2 hours should be every day. 2 hours is possible?
Okay. Of course it is possible, sir.
2 hours should be fine, ma'am. But don't compromise on newspaper and class notes, at least for the next 3 months. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all your classes.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks.
What I was coming to say is your classes were more, what to say? Yeah, those were very interesting actually. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir. Sir, up to what time we can close the optional, sir? Means how much? Means when we should start for prelims, sir? Preparing for prelims.
Okay. Prelim preparation, ma'am. Simple. Keep a 90-day timeline. Like if you want month na, till March end you can prepare optional. Even till April 10th, no harm. Till April 10th, no harm. Last to 60-70 days, if you accelerate, it is enough for prelims. No issues at all.
Till April we have time for optional.
Yeah, you can do, ma'am. No issues at all. No problem.
Thank you, sir. That's all, sir.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, ma'am, sure. Thank you.
Sorry for taking your time. So once again,
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
back here.
Sure.
I just want to know your UPSC journey because being the jack of pack, you can give us
Yes,
your
Jack Pack
experience.
here. See, thing
Yeah.
is, mine is quite, what do you call? I don't know how to say this. This is messing up with me. See, I started preparation 2014, 15, 16, and 17. 2015, 16, and 17. I came to this team immediately after graduation. 3 prelims cleared, 3 mains written, all the 3 mains not cleared. Well, I don't want to blame health reasons. Health reasons were there for 2 attempts, but still. Starting 2018, I was not able to clear prelims. And of course, you get only 3 years time from your parents. And after that, I had to get into a job. So since 2017, I'm working in this institution. So 17, 18, 19, 20. 19 and 20, I'm not able to give attempts because the number of classes began to increase. So that's the thing. So I'm not able to prepare. That is the reason that's why I told you I can pretty much understand when a candidate is working. So this prelims is too important for me because I made sure that the classes showed up earlier. So hopefully maybe this prelims, if it turns out good, then we will see in mains.
Sure. Thanks for sharing, sir.
Sure. Fine then. I tried my level best to answer your queries. Hope it was useful. Okay. Fine then. Thank you. Thanks for the thanks for the feedback also. Okay. Take care. And if you have any doubts, you can always contact me through the email. You have the email ID, isn't it? gautam.ar@shankaresh.in. Bye. Thanks for your time.